And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Bob's Sales this time's next year. So I do apologize if I seem a bit gruffly, and I will start coughing all the way through this because my throat is absolutely roasted. So yeah, this comic is a very exciting comic. So I think we should do a stream for this one, right? So hopefully we'll get some people in here in a minute. But until then, I am going to play old Rhubarb's video because I think that is an absolutely wicked video. I did actually start making the video for this. I actually wrote the script and everything. I got 4 hours into the edit and then I see old Rhubarb's video and I was like, look, there's no point me even making a video at this point because if I make a video, what's the point right now? Because if I make a video on that, Corey already done a great job. So there's no point making multiple videos when someone's already done a great job, right? Normally, I go a bit deeper than Corey recently, but with this one, he's got the artist and everything. So I think we'll take a look at that first. Morning duck and cover. Awesome. Gives me time to scratch my ass and gives me... Oh, no, that was the first comment, sorry. Gives me time to buy some scotch. We'll be live in 2 minutes. Obviously, that's me. Guess I better move my arse then. Yes, you better move on. Morning, Mr. Jimbo Lee. How are you, my friend? Are you going for this comic? Let me know if you're going for this comic. I think this is an absolutely big comic for veve, right? And the thing is, I do think this comic's going to get overlooked a little bit because of the Marvel collab after that. I do believe that collab may be the more important one. So I do believe that this drop, you may actually be able to get it, right? Now, the thing is, the people at the event, they're going to want to match the physicals to the digitals. 100% they're going to want to do that. So there's already people buying stacks of the other comic. So I can imagine there's people buying stacks of this comic. And by the way, this comic looks like an absolutely great read. It actually looks like a great comic. The storyline is absolutely phenomenal. I'll learn how to speak in a minute. So yeah, it's absolutely great, that comic, I must admit. I like the idea of the comic, but I do think it's going to get overlooked a little bit. But again, all them people at the event, your best move may be to just pick up uncommons and the ultra rare, right? Because they're the ones what are at the veve event. But they did say there's 18 other variations, what they're doing, special variations at the event. So to be honest, could they be the other covers? You never know, right? But yeah, it's definitely worth getting. I have tried to get someone to order, tried to get someone to buy me a couple. So I'm hoping he's actually going to come through for me. So yeah, I'm hoping I actually get a couple of them. It's a shame to not be at this event. This event is absolutely crazy compared to all the other events so far. It is literally veve making history right now. And I think to miss this comic would be an absolute no-go. I think every veve user that's sat here for the last 2-3 years is going to want this comic for the fact that it's got veve on the front cover. It's bringing us into the light, right? So yeah, I think we'll go through these comics and then I'm going to play a bit of old Rhubarb's video because I can explain the story of the comic because I remembered it for a video and I actually explained that in one of the live reads. But yeah, you never know. I think it's an absolute great sounding comic. The art looks great. And it's got veve on the front cover. How could you not want that to put behind you or something? And the cost price of the physical is really cheap. The cost price of the digital is really cheap. There's only 6,000 editions because 850 are being kept by veve in the licensed source. I assume that is going to be for giveaways at the event because I've never seen such a high number that's kept behind by veve so far, right? Says go on. Hello, Dead Coins. Good to see you. Yes. So you both agree this is a good comic. Jimbo Lee. All this is Comic Con exclusive and the first edition with variants. Exactly, right? I think this is absolutely a great comic. I want both physical and digital myself. I agree. I've actually tried to get someone at the event to buy me some. I'm hoping he comes through with that because I'm actually really excited for all these partnerships. I'm also trying to get the Funko. That's a bit harder to get done, but I'm also trying to get the Funko, I must admit. And I'm also trying to get a copy of the other one if I can as well. So yeah, it's been a mad week. History on the making and we can be part of it. Jimbo Lee, I absolutely agree with you, mate. This is history in the making. We've wanted this for so long. Comics are not doing well on veve, let's be honest. Right now, they're absolutely dying. But until we get more things coming, I think they will pick up. In fact, it's the comics that you can compare to in real life stuff, right? So we have like kind of values to give them kind of a price range. Obviously, it's not going to match. If a comic's $500,000 in real life, it's not going to be that in veve, right? It's just not going to happen. But you know it's going to be a good comic. You know it's probably going to be worth going for. So yeah, you always think about it like that. I'll learn how to work my mouse in a minute. Slider 2333. Yes, I'm going for this one. Good man. I don't blame you. Like I say, I think it's absolutely history. And I think to be a veve user this whole time and to not go for this comic, I think that's a bit sacrilegious, I must admit. And if you're not going to the event, you're going to want this comic because you want to be part of the event. If you are going to the event, you're going to buy the physicals, so you're still going to want this comic to be part of the event. It's like the Ron English. That's also a great comic, right? Yo, Ronnie Lotto, good to see you, my friend. We're actually twin brothers, I think, at this point. Some of the stuff you come out with, I must admit, it's like what you were saying about drawing earlier, about you can only draw from something from mind. I can only draw something from seeing it on a page in front of me. So we're complete opposite there. I'm here to hear more about this comic. So should I play the video? So I can actually tell you, but I don't know whether you'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth. So I'll play the video and hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this. I shouldn't. But I think Vincent actually explains this quite a bit in this because Vincent's made the comic and there is another. Let me just check the article. And David Quinn is the other writer. And David Quinn's actually a really popular writer. And it's the same as the artist that drawed all the panels inside. She actually works for She actually used to do Dark Horse comic covers. And this, let me just pull my screen up 1 second. And this is a Dark Horse comic cover, right? And look at that. That's an alien cover. Absolutely exquisite. This is my favorite comic I own in real life. It's not worth a hell of a lot, but it's one of my favorite because of the covers, right? So let's play this video for 2 seconds and then we'll get back to sharing more about it.
Your lifelong addiction to comics has led to a very healthy The Addiction #1.
Hi, my name is Vincent Zorzola. I am the president of Metropolis Comics, the world's largest dealership for vintage comic books, as well as ComicConnect.com, the premier online auction site for vintage comic books and collectibles. I have loved comic books since I was a little boy, since before I could even read. I remember looking at the pictures and just being in amazement at how incredible they were. I loved characters like Spider-Man and Deathlock and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I was amazed by all of them, and it turned into a lifelong passion for me that I turned into a successful business. And I have always had a childhood dream. When I was with my friends, we would sit, we'd fold paper together and make our own comic books. And now I have the chance to make my very own for real. And that is what we're doing. The Addiction is coming to you live and digitally and in print, and it's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Vincent. And before we dive into the comic and the art and the character and the story behind it, I'm curious about how you heard about veve.
I love the veve community. I'll tell you my first experience learning about veve. I was at a Gary Vaynerchuk convention in Minneapolis, VCon, and a potential client, walked up to our booth. We were there promoting our businesses and showing off the comic books that we had for sale. And the client walked up and pointed to a Daredevil Comics #1 and said, "I own that book." I said, "Oh, that's really cool. Great. You're a comic collector. You know, we've been meeting a lot of people who are into digital collectibles, but not many, comic book collectors." And he said, "Yeah, let me show it to you." And he pulled out his phone and opened up the veve app and showed me the book. And he said, "Yeah, I own it right here." And I was like, wow, that's absolutely fascinating. A couple months later, I was at another convention and another client came up to the booth telling me how he collects the comic books digitally and that he wanted to start collecting them in print. And I just thought this was absolutely fantastic and amazing because I see it as an opportunity to reach so many more people. And the more I learned about veve and the philosophy and the community that they've developed over time, the more I realized that this was just the right place for us. We wanted to make the world of the addiction as accessible as humanly possible. And that's why we felt veve was the perfect partner.
You know, it's really exciting to hear you talk about digital collectibles like that. And I think there's a misconception from a lot of physical collectors that, you know, no one's going to accept the digital space. But it's interesting because the more people that I talk to that collect massive amounts of things, the more digital collecting makes sense to them, because kind of like my backdrop here, and I'm just a small time collector, there's only so much space.
Corey, I couldn't agree with you more.
I'll run out
I
of
think
space.
there are so many things about digital collectibles that make them incredibly appealing to people. Now, you have to understand, I come from the background where I am really a print comic book collector. I collect comic books from the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Copper Age, all the way up to modern times. I have an inventory of over 150,000 books, and it takes up a lot of space. I also have my own personal collection, which takes up a lot of
Comics
space.
are one of the hardest
thing I
things
love
to
about
store,
digital
by the
is
way.
you have it on your phone,
Toys
or you
are
have it in your
bad,
smart
but they're not
wallet,
as bad.
and it's such a cool way to collect, because at any moment you have access to it. You can read it, you can look at it, you can share it with friends. And I think that this concept generationally will continue to increase, because I think new types of new mediums take time for people to get used to. And I think that the longer this is around, the more and more people will be drawn to it.
All right, so we've made it through the introductions and sort of the origin story of how you came to veve. Let's talk about this comic. I know you've probably been practicing
Now, this
an
is a
elevator
crazy
pitch for New York
story. I
Comic
love
Con
this story.
as people come to
of
your
the comic.
booth to check out the comic. Can you give it to us?
Definitely
What
actually
is
gonna read
your
this.
elevator pitch for The Addiction?
Corey, I'm so happy you asked me for the elevator pitch, because it's something I've been working on for quite
Now,
some
this
time.
is
So
exciting.
here goes. The Addiction at its core is about second chances. Dr. Nikki Tino has dedicated her life to fighting drug addiction. She's gotten so good at it that the local drug cartels have taken notice, and they want to make an example out of her. They want to make her look like she's a drug addict. They kidnap her and they shoot her up with a cocktail of drugs. And Nikki goes through what a lifelong junkie would go through in one night. Eventually, the drugs kill her. But after the chemicals mix with her blood, they bring her back to life. Now she's got a second chance and an uncanny ability. From her slightest touch, she can inject any type of drug into a person's body. And thus begins the adventures of The Addiction.
I love it. And we're going to include chapters in the bottom of this video so people can jump around to find what they want if they don't want to listen to the larger sections. But I want to know the larger sections. So what is the heart and soul and the purpose of this story? You give us the elevator pitch. Can you dive a little bit deeper into what is The Addiction? What's the soul of this story?
You know, Corey, it's a great question. What is the story we're trying to tell? And, you know, I'm sure if you asked David, he would have a very different answer, or maybe some things that would overlap. But for me, this is, there's so many things that are intertwined in The Addiction. Obviously, there's the underlying theme of addiction. We're all addicted to something. What's your addiction? We're all addicted to something. And so you have to think about that. In our comic book, you're going to see many different themes. Obviously, drugs play a part in this, but love, food, and those are just a couple of examples. There are so many others. And the reader is going to have to kind of like look into it. For us, the story of The Addiction is to try to make a realistic look at a superhero, so to speak. So in my mind, no superhero in the real world would ever wear a costume, because that's basically painting a bullseye on your chest. Nikki doesn't wear a costume. She dresses fashionably, but when she uses her powers, the touch, her skin turns a chalky white and her eyes turn black. So that's her costume per se. So now we have this comic book, and we want to make it kind of realistic in a superhero world, in a fantastic world. And we have Nikki with her powers, and realizing that she was such a workaholic when she was a doctor, and now she has a whole new way she can fight the drug war. She realizes the second chance she has at life, she was dead, the second chance, she wants to do things a little differently. She had never had time for romance. Now she has a boyfriend, Enzo. And Enzo is a fantastic character. He is a barista, but also aspiring at so many different things. We wanted to make it kind of like a very fun juxtaposition of characters and play with typical archetypes from comic book themes, but turn them on their heads. So in our comic book, Nikki is really like Superman, and Enzo is Lois Lane. And that's not an easy thing for a true blue New Yorker to deal with, especially not one like Enzo.
I really appreciate that deeper insight, Vincent. In New York, that's a major part of your story. It's a major backdrop for your story. And you've tied New York into your story in a way that I don't think anyone else ever has. Can you give us a little bit more about that?
I'm a Marvel guy. And Marvel comic books took place in New York for the
Cat's
most
coming
part.
to cause
And
mayhem.
so I wanted
over it.
our world to be in the
You
real
leave my
world.
water
And
alone.
so it's New York City. And New York City is another character in this comic book. One of the things we've also tried to incorporate in this is food, our love of food. David and I
12
both really
minutes
love
till
food.
you need to enter
And this
the
will be
wait
the
list
first
as
time
well.
a comic book has ever been launched in conjunction with the promotion, co-branding, and product placement with a fantastic restaurant in New York City, pizzeria, my favorite pizzeria in New York, Grimaldi's at the Limelight.
They even had
which
little
is an
bonuses
old
like
church
that
on
as
20th
well.
Street and 6th
Little
Avenue
tiny
that's been
things.
converted over time. It was a nightclub, and now it's shopping and this amazing pizzeria. If you go into the Grimaldi's at the Limelight or in their Douglaston location, you can order the Addiction Special. And if you do, you'll get a QR code which will allow you to read a few of the pages from the Addiction and then either buy it digitally through veve or in print from us. So that's really exciting and really cool and
Love to
fun.
know
So
if
it's
he
part
actually
of the
has a
story we're
stake
trying to
in the
tell.
pizza
Our love
shop
of food,
or who
our love of
made
comic
the
books,
partnership.
our love of
Said
New
he
York
loves the
City.
pizza.
All right, Vincent, this is the part of the video where I
Wondering
would
how
go
that
through
come
each and
about.
every cover, but instead, I'd love for you just to talk to us generally about the artistic direction with all these beautiful variants. And while that's happening, I'm going to throw each of the digital versions up on the screen with the edition numbers.
Corey, I am so proud of the team that we've built. David and I, first of all, I'm so happy to have David on board. His experience in comic books and his writing style has been just incredible. Together, I think we've really been able to fashion something very special. But going from there, we had to build out the team. And it took us a long time to find the right artist for the interior of the Addiction. And I am so happy that we've been able to work with Eisner-nominated Claudia Malboni. Claudia is from Rome, Italy. She lives in
does
Rome,
the
Italy,
inside
and she is
panel.
fantastic. She's been working in the comic book world for
Does the
quite some time.
whole
She's done
inside
Fair
of
Lady
the
for Image. She worked on Star Trek for IDW
Dark
and a whole
Horse
host of other titles. What I love about Claudia's artwork is while
She works
it's
for them.
steeped in traditional European styling for comic book art, she also has been able to combine that with manga and anime. And I think it makes this incredible blend of East meets West in comic book art. And her storytelling is fantastic because comic book art is not just about being able to draw, it's being able to tell a story through sequential art. That is incredibly important to note. Our colorist, Brad Simpson. Now, Brad Simpson is a veteran of the coloring of comic book world, and he has been a pleasure. Consummate professional, takes a lot of our notes to heart and really blends them with his knowledge of color palettes and his color theory to really bring out the best and make create moods and tension and develop a scene in a way. It's almost like it really is another part of storytelling. Last but not least for the interiors, Dave Sharp, another veteran of comic book world, he's our letterer. I have never been like the type of person who followed like different letterers.
This is exactly
watching Dave work and seeing how he developed a lettering style.
This is exactly why I didn't make
has
this
been really
video,
incredible.
When
he does it, you see that a whole page takes on a new life simply by the change of a font or the styling of a font. One of my oldest friends in the comic art world is David Mack. David Mack, and many of you may know him. He created the character Echo from the Daredevil series, who also appeared in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series, which I thought was a really great character. I really love that character. And he also created one of my favorite comic books of all time, Kabuki, which if you haven't read, you really should read. It's amazing. David has won countless number of awards, and he actually drew the cover, painted the cover that's right behind me. And when you see one of his covers, you start noticing his covers everywhere. He's been around for quite some time and has an incredible style and technique that is uniquely David Mack. Next on board, we have a fantastic rising star in the comic book world as one of our cover artists, Andres Labrada. He's out of Miami, and he is absolutely fantastic. I got to meet him at a Miami Con where he brought over a comic book that he'd been working on. And I looked at it and said, boy, that character looks a little bit like
this guy's really like
our character. And so it was almost like immediate. We just had this great rapport and we started working together. And I really believe this guy's going to be one of the biggest names in comic books. He's doing covers for all three issues. And when you see the veve red and the veve blue cover, you're going to know how special this guy is. They're just dynamite covers.
They are.
We have one of the most popular cover artists in the world. He is very well known for his digital art. His name is Stanley Lau, but you probably know him better as Art Germ. So that's going to be one of our variant covers as well for issue number 1. He has been just such a pleasure. I met him at the Lake Como Art Con in Lake Como, Italy. Another artist who was our original artist and when we first started working on the diction is Eisner award-winning Alitha Martinez. And Alitha and I have known each other for quite some time. And she is so talented and so easy to work with and just such a pleasure. And I consider I consider everybody here a friend, but Alitha and I go back a ways. And it's just really nice to see how successful she's become in the comic book world. And her cover is near and dear to my heart. And that's that one right there. And I just absolutely adore it. And I can't wait for you to see this. It's going to be incredible.
All right, Vincent, we're reaching the end of this. We've talked about the physical comics. We've talked about the digital comics. We've talked about the story and the art. Would you like to share any last words for our collectors on veve?
My message to the veve community is this. I am so happy you guys love comic books and you love collecting digital comic books. I hope if you have the opportunity to read our comic book that you love it. I hope if you have the opportunity to come by New York Comic Con, come tell me all about your veve collection. I want to see it on your phone. And again, we'll be at booth 3537. Dave,
this is what we need. People that
stops over to our booth from time to time.
They're the partnerships
and it would be great for you to get to meet him. He is just a fantastic guy. I love the community that he and his partner have built at veve. And I want you guys to have fun with this. Remember, people don't need comic books. They want comic books. And comic books are there to make you happy and make you think and entertain you and help you get an escape from the regular doldrums of ordinary life. They've been all those things for me, and they've also taught me lessons. They've created a great appreciation for me in art. For many of my customers, they've inspired them to their career paths.
Yeah, great.
I've had police officers and firemen tell me 100%. That they wanted to be those professions because of superheroes. They knew they don't have superpowers, but if they could help people
and you've got
in some
5
way,
minutes to join the wait list.
Doctors, lawyers,
I'm going to get
different people have come up to me and said how much comic books have inspired them.
I don't want to cut him
again,
off
if that can help shape somebody's life or help them find purpose, I think that's an amazing thing. And hopefully maybe the addiction will have that same effect on one of you. And that would make me really happy. But for the most part, please enjoy this comic book, enjoy the experience, and keep reading comic books.
And with that, we have a wrap to a historic breakdown video, our very first physical and digital comic release. A massive thank you to Vincent and his...
So there we go. There we have it. Let me just switch it back to the right screen. Let me put it back on the veve dashboard. Again, you've literally got 4 minutes to enter the wait list now. So if you're going to do that, go into it now. Oh, that don't look good, does it? Let's try that again. That is proper laggy. I am going to do that on my phone as well because my phone normally works better. But I have got a lot of stuff up. Let me get rid of that. Now we should be going. So this site's either really busy right now or it's lagging as anything. But I am on my phone. Oh, here we go. Whoo! I don't want to get stuff like that already, I must admit. So we'll get to the comment section. Dead coins. I messaged Vincent on Twitter and a few days ago, he said the physical will be available after Comic-Con. That's neat. So I don't know how many of a print run they actually have or have done in the physical realm. I don't think they actually said anything about that. Did veve say anything about that? Let me just check. I'm just checking the article now. I don't think it says anything about that. I know it says at the top there, we're premiering 18 limited edition variants of issue number 1. The NYC variants of features like embossing, foil, hollow foil, virgin covers, and the veve variants. So there's 18 different versions. I'm not sure how many of each versions. I'm not sure how many of the physicals are actually selling, I don't think. I'm just having a quick look. Along with a digital vision, we're working to create a digital red and blue cover, limited to 1,000 copies of each. So is that edition more than 1 second? So I'll just bring you back to my page. Right. So yeah, I'm not sure how many physicals there are, judging by the article. If you do want to read that, we'll go back to that in a minute. Morning, Kat. Well, I sort of made it. Well, there's always tomorrow. So she's actually going to come on and be one of my wing women for the day and help with some of these drops, because she's also a great guest. She kind of missed the birthday party by accident. Well, we both kind of missed that by accident. So yeah, I can't wait to have her on. She's an absolute cracking laugh. So yeah, that's going to be a good laugh. Dead Coins, I like the pizza shop that's in the comic. Yeah, I've never heard of the pizza shop in my life. I'm English. I'm sure we don't have that pizza shop here, I must admit. But yeah, it's a great addition. Just the little things like that. It's kind of like utility, right? The little added touches they've added, like that, the drawing competition. I mean, they've done absolutely amazing things with veve. They're signing some of the comics, I know that. They've got all the different covers, they've got foil covers, etc. I'm not sure what I think the prices was like $20 for a physical one. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure it was at one point. I think veve actually released the second article. Maybe I'll try and find that in a second. But yeah, if you're not in the wait list, it is now time to join that. So where is my thing? Because we're definitely joining this one. If you've always noticed as well, if you don't refresh the page, that it doesn't change till like a minute later. So even when you're buying on the rebounds, I always advise refreshing the page a couple of seconds, or backing in and out the page before going back in. I always advise that. I normally do it on my phone. I must admit, I don't go for drops on the computer because I never seem to have luck. Also, don't like sniping on the computer. A lot of people say it's better, but yeah, for me, it's not. So yeah, you need to join the waitlist now. I'm actually going to try and get probably 3 of these if it's possible. But I honestly think this is instant sellout. I don't think it's going to be possible. I would put the question in the chat, but I've got to be honest with you, I have no idea how to do that. So I'm not even sure how to put that in the chat. Otherwise, I would do it. Because I take it everyone in this chat's going to go for this comic. Everyone put a yes if they're going for this comic. But yeah, it's a nice idea. I also like the guy. I think he's absolutely great. And that's how partnership should be done with veve, right? Veve should be spoken out loud multiple times the whole way through it. That guy couldn't be showing any more gratitude towards veve. And I think after seeing the hype about it, I think they were rather shocked, judging by what the other guy was saying in the other video about the drawing competition. Because he was saying he was surprised at the outpouring of support from the veve fans. So yeah. If they can, having a cigarette, smoking rabbits, and what did I miss something there? No, I didn't. If they can, having cigarettes, smoking rabbits, and cookies, comics maybe. Yeah, comic books based around drug addictions and the art of smoking joints can exist in the future. This is hopeful for me. Well, I must admit, I was a bit surprised because we've had X23 comics before, and it had mature content on the cover. This one's got a lot of drug problems in it, and if you see some of the cover art, I've actually read. You can read the first 5 pages right on veve. So I've actually had a look at that, and you can actually see it does look a bit dark. So I expected a mature content warning, but there wasn't one. I actually like it when the covers have that on. I think that's great. It also reminds me of this cover here. I mean, this cover here is absolutely brilliant, and this is just a raw copy. I brought this in London before with some of the veve fam. Never heard of the book before. It's actually Something is Killing the Children, and it's really dark book, I must admit. And if you see inside as well, the style drawing is kind of like this book. So that's what I actually think. I actually really like this book. So yeah, I think that should have had a mature warning on it. But either way, I think it's a really good idea. And I also smoke the devil's lettuce, sadly. So yeah. Captain O, straight out of the shower here in Midwest, USA. yeah, it's really early for it. Well, saying that, I think it might be a bit later for you guys, right? Normally it's like 8 a.m. for all you lot. Whereas for me, it's normally 4 p.m. and it's actually 5:30 right now. So it's good timing for drops for me, I must admit. Hey, Double Quill. If you don't know Double Quill, go and follow her blog. Great blog. She's one of the best blog writers around. Always a good laugh as well. Ronnie Lighto, 100%. That's me. I won't let you down. No, you don't have to feel pressured at all, but I'm glad you won't let me down because that's absolutely going to be a cracking laugh. Make a great guest, I must admit. So yeah, she will be coming on probably tomorrow or Saturday or along the line because I am doing all these drops because I've got to do all these drops this week because there's a lot of fam away. A lot of people want these drops and I'm kind of passionate about most of these drops this week. I'm probably going to go for I'm going for the addiction. I'm probably going to go for the X-Men. I'm probably going to go for the Toki Dokis. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go for gold or the 13 gem versions, but I think they're still worth buying. And I'm also going to go for the Ron English book. That's the first comic book that has 2 covers only on veve. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it said it's a physical and digital. I can't remember off the top of my head. I did actually start the video for that as well. So I've actually got my notes. I'll actually read my notes in a minute. But yeah, I know there's only 2 covers for that. I think it's both physical and digital. And I actually really like both covers of that. And Ron English is such a big name. You don't understand how big that guy actually is. The guy actually purchased a Banksy for 600k, I think it was. That was in one of my last videos about the Ron English grin. If you didn't see that history, go back and watch that. He actually purchased a Banksy just to paint over it because they believe street art should not be sold, right? So someone took it off the wall, removed the whole wall, sold it at auction, and it actually went to Ron English, and he took it home and painted it white for his friend Banksy. And I'm telling you, he was in through the exit through the gift shop as well. Also the Banksy documentary. Well, it was kind of a Banksy documentary, but then turned into something else. That is a good watch, by the way. But yeah, he's really big and he's in that. So I think he definitely knows who Banksy is 100%. He's absolutely huge, got his own band. Yeah, he does really well for himself. This time next year, good to see you, my friend. I'm not even sure how to say that name. Pastranak 88, but good to see you. I didn't get a like 14 today, though. Normally, when this guy comes on everyone's videos, I see him in everyone's chat because I tend to be in everyone's chats, everyone's videos, everyone's comment sections. And I always see this guy as soon as he comes in the chat, he's either first or he counts his likes and then he's like, I'm like 14 or I'm like 3rd. So appreciate you, my brother. I see you everywhere. You're a good member of the community. I'm back, Mr. Duck and Cover. You must have been taking a big dump. So yeah, you've got what we got so far. So it's 36 minutes past in a minute. So we've still got another 25 minutes at least. Superstar money. What's up, superstars? Oh, where's my hat? Oh, I had my hat somewhere. 1 second. Let me grab that. I will stop my camera. 1 second. And we're back. Look, my hat's getting a bit wear and tear now, though. Look. Starting to go the wrong color. It's starting to go brown. I think I slept in it too many times. But yeah, I've got my hat back. It wasn't burned, so that's good news. But yeah, welcome, superstars. Wait, David helped write this? Not as far as I know. He didn't say that, right? But yeah. David was involved in the whole process. And like the guy said, he found it through the Daredevil, someone coming up to him at an event. He was selling real physical Daredevils. And this guy was one of them. This Vincent was one that took it the right way. If you go into a comic book shop and say the same thing, a lot of them don't take it the same way. This bloke was selling really valuable, high value comics, all 9.8s and stuff, really high value. Like his site, I think, has a record for being one of the first companies to sell a comic book for over $1 million. So yeah, his site is huge and he's been investing and buying comics his whole life. And that's when he started writing comics when he was a kid. He actually started unfolding bits of paper and doing it that way, right? asking the real questions. Yeah, it was a good interview, I must admit. Cap Nose, Superstars, beautiful artwork. Yeah, I must admit, it's anime style artwork and it looks a bit dark. And I do like the artwork. Where is the homepage? Let me show you let me take you where I was. She can actually, where's the preview button again? So I'll just show you this preview quick. So this is the start of the comic book, and it actually looks a bit tamer at the beginning, right? But I do like the way it has all the names listed there for all the artists, all the cover art. Doesn't have no mention of no David Jew, no veve there though, but we are on the front cover, so can we complain really? And then let me show you the next couple of pages. So they're the first couple of pages. So the first couple of pages look really light, I must admit. And then you get to this page. That page doesn't look so light. So that's where the story starts. And I can imagine that's where she's been kidnapped by the kingpin and everything. And that's where she gets given the drugs that make her have a 24-hour withdrawal symptoms that a 20-year addict would have in one night. Her blood actually has a funny turn with the chemicals. It didn't go right. And then she's actually dies and then wakes up because of the mixture of blood and the chemicals. And then she's then able to use power of touch to then inflict any drug on that person. So I could literally touch you and inject you with whatever I wanted to. And that is a killer power. And then I can imagine she probably goes after the kingpins. Whether or not we're going to get multiple of these comics or not, I don't know. But this comic, the first one, is definitely going to be worth going for, right? If we do start getting 10 or 20 of these comics, it's going to start going on that same slope. But if this is a one-off or maybe a start of a 3-part story or something like that, I'm with that. And I do think this is unique. We definitely should have this. It's the first one. It's important. Although the Marvel one, everyone, David Hughes come out and basically said, that's the first one. This is the first one we're getting on veve. So to me, that counts as the first one. Let me just go back on that page. So let me just refresh, make sure I'm still in the right time. Yeah. So we've got 20 minutes left. So let me just catch up with the chat. This comic is unreal. Duck and cover. This comic is unreal. Gonna actually read this one. Yeah, and the creator actually said, please read this. Don't just stick it on your wall. Please read this one. And I'm actually gonna read this one too, I must admit. I do like these darker comics. So for me, definitely 100%. And some of the other comics we get in veve, some of the Silver Age, Bronze Age comics, some of them are not great reads, I must admit. Some of them are really stupid. Some of them are so uptight when they talk, and it's, the old 70s lingo. Yeah, they're not the greatest reads. The other X-Men #1, for instance, if you start reading the first page of X-Men #1, because I actually started a video for that, but then I had some stuff happen this week. So I got in the middle of making 4 videos, and I've made 1 so far. And then that one was kind of half done. It was a good video, but it weren't as well edited as I normally are, I must admit. But I've had some life things going on, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, X-Men 1, when you first start reading the first couple of pages of that, they're literally all waiting around Professor X. He's giving them orders telepathically with his mind, basically telling them, yeah, I need a sheet, I need a blanket, can you do this? And then he started asking each individual X-Men to go and start basically doing chores. And that's how it started. And then he tried to play that off as training. So yeah, that was a pretty funny read, the first couple of pages of that. Oh, he's talking about David Sharp. Yeah, that is the other writer. Yeah, the other writer is David, and he's very famous. I can't remember, what did I say he wrote earlier? Oh, what was it? 1 second, I can't remember what he wrote now. It was character Echo was once a sidekick to Daredevil. Is about to have her own Disney Plus and additional shows, pretty much. So yeah, award winning as well. 5 minutes to wait list. I'm in the wait list. I know I'm behind on the comics. I'll try to catch up. God damn, I wish I was at New York Comic Con. I agree, Duck and Cover. I must admit, this one was a bad one to miss. This one was a real bad one to miss. But because it's a Comic Con, them things are expensive. It's not a decon. Decon's less expensive, but still expensive, right? But New York Comic Con's a lot more expensive. Enjoying the wait list and shower real quick. Enjoy your shower, my friend. Don't forget to come back for the wait list, as you may cry, because I think this is going to be instant sellout. I don't think everyone's going to get a copy of this, I must admit. Everyone at the event, it's the first day of the event, right? So it's the first day of the event drops. More people will be going for these drops. Obviously, the poster did, in fact, sell out earlier. What's the best drops to buy for New York? 1 to 5, thanks. So, Stan, I would say X-Men 1 is one of the ones I'm going for. 100%. You can't miss that comic. That is just under £1 million comic. So, yeah, that is 100% worth it, obviously, in real life. But, yeah, that you can normally gauge just by that term that is going to be one of the higher values in veve, right? So, that's definitely going to be one of them. This Addiction comic, I'm really excited for this. I'm going to try and buy a couple if I can. I'm hoping because of the Marvel release, this one may get overlooked. I'm hoping that's the case. And then the Marvel one, obviously, that's another great comic. I do believe there's a digital of that. And then the Ron English as well. Not a lot of people, I'm not sure 100% everyone's going to go for the Ron English one, but there is a lot of people at their event. He is doing physicals at the event. They are having a New York party, and it is all themed by Ron English's artwork. So that was one of the secrets about the party. If you hold the golden grin. So you can get into the party, and the actual whole party has got Ron English art inside. Ron English is at the party. So even that is just an incredible drop. I think the ones I'm probably going to miss is the X-Men. I'm not overly keen on the X-Men. I like the design of Professor X more. That is based on the 90s comic book version, the cartoon version. It actually looks pretty close, I must admit. I like the cell shading or whatever they called it. That was pretty cool. But we do already have a Storm in app that's already in 3D the same way all the other collectibles are. Like really nice collectible. It's all smooth textured. So it's a bit of a letdown to see one X-Men like that and then hear that maybe they're going to release all the X-Men like this. So Storm may be more valuable than we all think. And it did actually go up in price as well. But yeah, I think that's the main one I'm going to miss. Obviously, I missed the poster already. And I think I may do some of the Tokidokis because that has always been big on veve. I'm not sure how many people that are still here are interested in Tokidoki these days, I must admit. But I think hardcore Tokidoki fans like Duck and Cover, for instance, that's collect all the Murmacornos, Unicornos, whatever you call them this whole time. So, yeah, I do think there will be hardcore fans that will go for that stuff. And again, Tokidoki is at the event. They're probably going to be selling physicals. A lot of them are actually physicals. We did find out. Some of them were part of a $13 blind box little mini series. And then other ones, you could buy bigger versions for about 175 USD for the actual statues themselves. I couldn't find some of them, but I could find most of them. And I could find the uncommon one, but the pattern on the chest was a little bit different. Again, I did start making the videos. I just got a bit delayed this week. So, yeah, I have got all this stuff sort of rattling around at the minute. Let me just take a quick drink. Again, I've got such a bad throat, and we've got 13 minutes to the drop. Everyone get ready for this one, because I do believe this is going to be a big drop. Not sure price-wise what it's going to do, but this one's an exciting one to go for because this could do anything. You never know. And I think veve's first comic book, like I said, a lot of people are buying this at the event. A lot of people are going to match this to their physicals, and they're not going to sell this in the market. It's just not going to happen. I expect a really low floor in the market, if anything, on these. So, yeah, great question. Thank you for that, Stan. I can cover. Very cool that people, comic collectors, will get. See, now I know how veve Vibes struggles to read. 1 second. Very cool that people, comic collectors, will get to see the comic at the booth. Yeah, a lot of people will get to see the comic at the booth. And not only that, they're cheap enough to buy. A lot of these are really cheap to buy. Like, they're standard comic book prices. And I can imagine Veve and Vincent, because Vincent even mentioned the whole art team that took part in the process of these comic books is actually at the event. So imagine walking around that event. A lot of these people are very friendly, very willing to sign stuff for you. You may be in a big, big queue, but it is a Comic-Con event, so there will be a lot of other stuff going on around you. So who knows? I reckon there'll be a lot of them coming back signed, and I think that's just an absolute great comic, great hold, great people, I think. Collector's going to see the VV logo at Comic-Con. That has nothing to do with Marvel. Good PR. Yeah, the VV being right next to Marvel. I'll learn how to talk in a minute. VV being next to Marvel is a great idea. And again, that's been what the last 2-3 years running. And that is a big partnership. I think we've all took it for granted over the last couple of years. It is still Disney, but that is a big partnership. And we are getting a bit used to having that partnership, right? Before we were so bullish about that partnership. Recently, the comics are really struggling. No one seems to be that bothered about the partnership. But again, I think we're just getting spoiled at this point. That is one of the best partnerships you can ever have. So yeah, I agree. Absolutely great. And the VV covers with a logo. Yeah, I agree. Duck and cover. They're the ones I think in the aftermarket are going to be most valuable. But it also depends on the other 18 covers. The artist did mention what he had, because he did say there's 18 other variations. So we don't know what's coming yet. And he didn't say whether there were one-offs or whether there's 100 of them or a couple of hundred of them. So we really don't know. And we've got 10 minutes till the drop. So this should be a good one. Ronnie Lighto, waitlist join, good man. I take it everyone's going for this drop, right? Hell yes. Yep. I feel good about this drop. Secret Rare is really cool. So I must admit, black and white covers are not really my thing. I've always said that. But in this case, it's a single cover. There's no color version of this. So yes, I agree. It's one of the best secret rares we have. And I like the fact that we don't have a colorless version of this. Although the uncommon and the ultra rare are exactly the same, but different colors, they actually look fire like that. I can't lie. The different colors on them actually look really good. And again, they're the physical comics. And I can't wait to put one on my shelf. I really hope my person, what I've tried to get me one, comes through with that, because I'm really going to be happy with that. I will cherish that forever. A lot of this stuff is never leaving me. That will be one of them things. And even if it all goes to shit and VV fails, it was a good time. I'm keeping all of that stuff. I still got VV tattooed on my arm. I'm still glad I tattooed it on my arm, because it was still a good time, right? Yes, Dead Coin's going for it too. Stan, hell yeah. I'm an addict. That's pretty good, I must admit. Don't even care if it goes under retail. Want the original mint on this one. I'm exactly the same, duck and cover. I do not care if this one goes under retail, because I am not looking to sell this comic. You're going to have to pull this one from their arms. If this comic goes for 200 plus for a common, even though my mind's going to tell me to sell it, I'm going to struggle to sell it. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a really hard question for me. Will I be able to sell this? But then if they do release more of these along the line, it will go down in value. But the first one will always stay as the remaining one, will always stay as the first, always stay as this significant part of our journey. Well, the VV journey so far. So we've got 8 minutes left. So I am going to click on my screen in a minute. And again, I think even if you're not going for the drop and you do think it's going under retail, maybe the ultra rare and the uncommons are the ones to pick up. Sorry, my accent keeps kicking in there because I've got a sore throat, so my accent keeps trying to come out. My throat's absolutely roasting. That was one of the other reasons I give up on the videos the other day, because even on the Tokidoki one, my throat was cutting out the whole way through that, and it was starting to annoy me, I must admit. I was actually starting to get stressed, and it was making the speech in the video worse. And then I actually done some close cuts in that were a bit too close. So I'm actually going to do less cuts in the next one, the breathing, because I always tend to cut out the breathing spaces, just so it's not wasting your time listening to breathing spaces. But again, sometimes it does kill the flow, make it less natural. So I will try and sort that out a bit better because the sound on the last one wasn't perfect. I did make a couple of close cuts. The video wasn't perfect, but it was a great video for what it was. Wasn't my normal standard video, put it that way, when it comes to like Aladdin and Lion King and stuff like that. They're the go-to videos, right? And all them histories on the channel, by the way, you can still go back to the channel, watch every single drop, and there's nearly a history with every single drop. Some of them have been done in 2 minutes. Some of them have been done in more detail. I mean, the Banksy Disneyland is probably one of my favorite videos. Aladdin, Jurassic Park. There's quite a few favorites now. Even the Wreck-It Ralph with a desk. Like the beginning of Wreck-It Ralph, I enjoyed making the history of Wreck-It Ralph, I must admit. And no one watched that one, by the way. But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph's a really good film. If you've never seen that as an adult, I don't have kids. I don't have no excuse to watch Wreck-It Ralph. But both of them films are really good. And the second one is arguably better. But you do see the Street Fighter characters in the first one on the arcade machine making cracking jokes. So that is one of my favorite bits from that one. But yeah, the second one, they traveled the internet. That is a really good thing. So yeah, we've got 6 minutes left. So I'm going to try and go through these comments quick before the drop actually comes. And then we're going to see what happens. So good luck, everyone, on the drop. I hope you all get secret rares today, or you get the cover you want. But hopefully we all get secret rares. Worst case, if you don't like it, you can sell it and buy the exact cover you want. Maybe double. Duck and cover. Don't even care if it goes on. Yeah, I've read that one. Sorry. Stan, do posters have general value? Every brand seems to have posters, but I'm scratching my head if they're worthless. So it all depends on the Veveverse, I must admit. So we're getting told right now. So I have probably 3 or 4 posters. I have a couple of the Alien ones, a couple of the Predator ones, and I think I have one Star Wars one. And the wait list is just closed, by the way. So yeah, I think I have minimal posters. And the thing is, people are saying we can import textures, we can import skies into the Veveverse. If you can import skies and textures into the Veveverse, my worry is you'll be able to put pictures into the Veveverse, which then also affects not only the posters, but the comic book covers. Because I could essentially scan a 9.8 AF15, take a picture of it, and then if I could import that into veve, that's not going to be good for the comics. So I'm hoping there is some restrictions there. But we did hear from the beta testers you can import skies and stuff like that. And essentially, that's just a picture, an image you're putting in there, right? So I'm thinking if you can put one image in there, you can put another image in there. We also know you can stream stuff in there at the time of the first beta testers coming out. Because one of them did actually say about putting Disney Plus on the TV in there for 5 seconds. And it come on with no problem. Someone else said about putting Netflix on there for 2 seconds and it come on for no problem. There will be issues if that is allowed, I must admit. But yeah, apparently you can do that. But that's probably not going to be there when we all get into the Veveverse. I'm hoping there's going to be some restrictions. Like maybe NFT onlys and a certain site where you can get backgrounds, or maybe veve just implementing that themselves. They put shelves in there, they put cylinders in there, certain shapes, stuff like that. So again, I wouldn't stack posters, I must admit, I wouldn't. And going for poster drops is just not sensible this day and age. Definitely not sensible this day and age. So I am actually going to go onto my phone and get ready for this drop. We've got 3 minutes, 4 seconds, everyone. Good luck. But yeah, I'm not keen on what to think about the posters. Again, the Alien and Predator ones, absolutely great. Oh, and the Jurassic Park set. I have the Jurassic Park set. Jurassic Park set is one of the best looking set of posters there is. I also have a Mint 100 James Bond Tomorrow Never Dies poster. That's one of the James Bond posters and films I've actually liked over the years. And that poster, when you walk past it, actually looks really good. Like texture-wise, it actually looks like it's moving with you. Same as the Jurassic Park. They're really cool. But yeah, you've got 2 minutes 28 to go for this comic. Double cool, sell me your uncommons for cheap, yo. Today is the one day you will not catch me selling this uncommon. The uncommon and the ultra rare, for me, are the best covers. And we know they're physicals, right? So people are going to buy that physical, not want to sell that physical. Just making sure I'm ready. I'm actually going to try and get multiple of these if I can. If I can get multiple of these, I'm going for multiple. So good luck, everybody. I can cover. I reckon the posters will take off in the Veveverse. People going to want their Bond collectibles backed by their Bond posters. That could be very true as well. But again, I'm reading this after what I just said. So hopefully I'll get another comment after what I just said, right? That is a way of thinking. That is a worry to me, though, I must admit. And the Predator posters, by the way, they make the back of them make wicked fencing if you're going to have a playpen. I made a short recently walking around my veve vault, my first attempt at a build, and I actually used one of them to make a screen for my dinosaurs and stuff. It actually looked really cool. So yeah, that's another use for them posters. And I do believe there will be some people that get to the Veveverse and they're only going to want to build with veve items, not use the cylinders and the easy way out. I think the way you get people building these days, I think that's what's going to happen. I think the inventive builders are still going to use their veve NFTs to build in there and try and keep it as much veve as possible, or NFTs as possible, right? Not normal items. And you've got 45 seconds to go. 45 seconds. Good luck, everyone. I really hope I get this. If I don't get this, I'm going to do a BE informant right now. I'm going to headbutt the desk. I'm going to headbutt the desk. My superstar hat is going to die. So good luck, chat. How's the community? Where are you from, lad? I'm actually from Milton Keynes, around that area. So I'm down the bottom end of the UK. My dad is from Middlesbrough, so sometimes I pick up his accent when I talk. Now and again, if I slur a word or something, you hear that accent come out because he still speaks like that. My dad actually drop buy now. I got one. Buy now, everyone. Buy now. So I have been selected. Oh, like an idiot. I cancelled off of it. So I actually got commengated straight away, but I'm not even sad about that. So I'm going to wait to see what happens with this now. I really wanted the uncommon or the ultra rare. I'm not going to lie. Double quilt. I actually wanted the uncommon or the ultra rare. I'm not going to lie. And I am going to go for this again when it returns. If it returns, I'm straight going back for this. And again, we do have the 5-minute waiting now before market. I can't remember what it is. What's the wait time now before you can list on the market, before you can see the prices? Is it 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? I can't remember. Duck and cover. I don't read Quill's blogs, but I like her and her husband just because they're, yeah. Is that, oh, what do you call them? The unicorns, the bronies, My Little Ponies. That's the one. I don't know how that slipped my mind there, but yeah. Yeah, I like double quill too. I've always got on with double quill, I must admit. I didn't even realise it was a girl at first, like a lot of the people around it. I didn't realise Captain O was a woman at first, neither. So yeah, didn't realise either were women. We just all vibe, right? We just all talk on Twitter. That's why I think at the events you actually need to have like name tags and stuff like that of your Twitter name and your veve name and whatever other site's names just all tattooed down your chest so everyone knows who you are. So hopefully some of you got some good luck. I'll come and check that in 2 seconds. I'll try and skip through these. Dead coins. I have all Ron English collection on veve. I actually like Ron English, but I didn't know how big Ron English was till more recently when I started doing the video. I actually done a catch up on Frank Koziak when he died, and it was a shame I didn't do that video before. I didn't know how big Frank was, I must admit. And it was after that we got the next Ron video, we got the next Ron drop, and I was like, boy, I'm doing this one this time. I'm not missing this one this time. I want to have a video there for Ron and actually try and appreciate the man while he's alive a bit more than I did with Frank. Because at the time I didn't know how big Frank was until I made his RIP video and done a bit of back research into Frank. Then I see how big he was, and it was a bit of a shame to see that, I must admit. So yeah, the Ron English video is pretty good. And Ron English is a big guy. Duck and cover. I started buying Ron English entirely because of your vid. I actually like Ron English. I'm not going to lie to you. It's actually really good stuff. I don't know how popular. At first, he was really popular. I'm not sure about now because we've got a lot less users. But I'm telling you, that guy is absolutely huge. I mean, who buys a Banksy artwork for I think it was 600k and then buys it to then whitewash it for his friend because it shouldn't be brought and sold. Street art shouldn't be brought and sold. That is crazy. And that just shows you if he can put that money into something to just chuck away, to just essentially whitewash. Although he did say, I'm not stupid. He goes, I'm not stupid. He goes, I'll whitewash it and then sell it for 1 million as it is. So whether or not he actually did that, we never found out, I must admit. But yeah, he's absolutely a great artist, that guy. And he seems to be kind of like Vincent, where he wants to be part of the veve community. He's done a lot of signings. He's been at a lot of the events and stuff like that. He's always trying to go the extra mile with veve. Let me just go for this, see if I've got a timer pop up yet. So we do actually have the rebound clock. Is that right? So the rebound clock is actually up. I'm sure it should have been longer than that, but it's a minute from. So I'm just going to take a look at that. What's your idea of the veve-verse for the posters? Duck and cover. One second, I'm just checking this. I'm just waiting for this rebound to come. Looks like the rebound's going to hit in 20 seconds. So duck and cover, that's to you, mate. Good luck, everyone. Raven, good luck, Raven. I think I'll catch up in a second with everyone. Did it actually just say I didn't pay, even though I'm on my I've already paid? Yeah, I actually come up with I didn't pay, and I've just brought one. So the rebound's there, and there is rebounds. I've just brought another one. It's going through. Let's see what I got. 1 second, 1 second. I don't know how many rebounds are going to be up. In fact, I'm going to back out and I'm going to buy another one. So I've just backed out and I've made my third purchase now. So I've brought 3 so far. In fact, I made my 4th purchase and I'm buying 4. I'm that bullish on this comic. It looks like there's a lot for sales. It looks like they haven't sold out because I've just brought 4. And I'm really happy with my 4 purchases. Even if they're worth 1 gems, I am happy to sacrifice that money because I believe this comic's going to do really well. I'll try and catch up with what we've actually caught, with what you've all got in the chat. 1 second. Duck and cover. Will I buy a lot of art? But I imagine displays with Disney posters on the wall behind their Disney collections would be striking. Duck and cover. That is actually a really good. That is actually a really good idea. So I've just got mint number 440 on that last one. So I have no idea what I've got here. So 1 second. So I just got mint number 440. Let's go. I think the mint numbers for this one started around 200 odd. So far I've got common 2321 and nothing else has come up yet. I'm just trying to get deliveries and stuff. And the buy now button is still up. So that is a weird one for me. Maybe everyone's waiting for the next comic. But again, I'm bullish on this comic. I'm still not going to regret that buy at all. So where are we? I'm just trying to see if I can track how many have gone. It's actually weird because on the remaining editions, it actually shows. Let me refresh this. On the remaining editions, it actually shows calculating rather than the number, which I've never seen that before. So I have actually received another one by the looks of it. So let's take a look. Oh, so I got the secret rare. Let's go. 1, 2, 6, 7. I got the secret rare, everybody. There we go. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. So now I've got the hard decision. Do I sell anything? I'm hoping that I've got more to come yet. That is crazy, everyone. Look at that beauty. Look at that. And yeah, duck and cover, you're right. People will buy stuff like that. I actually done it with my Jurassic Park stuff. I put the animals in front of the posters. So that is a very good point. Predator will come. Alien will come. Link like mint 4. So please like the chat if you haven't already. I'd much appreciate that. The algo really hates me, I must admit. This channel should be so much better. Like, the histories are so better now. Like, I think I put so many people off in my first year of editing. It was so bad. But after that, I've absolutely rocketed. I'm not sure how much further I can actually go by doing the drop videos, like improving the standards of them, if that makes sense. So let's go. Thank you very much. Is this the first physical comic on veve? It is the first physical for me, but David mentioned it yesterday, like the Marvel Spider-Man one was the first physical comic for veve. So I'm not sure which partnership they had first, but for me, this is the first drop for veve, the first physical I'm seeing for veve. So that's going to count. So I'm going to count that. So I did actually get my other deliveries. It's not good news, I must admit. So I got one common, 2321. I got another common, 2332. I got the uncommon. Let's go with the uncommon. I'm happy with that, which is mint number 440, by the way. So that's a great one. And then I got the secret rare. So right now I need an ultra rare and a rare. So I'm waiting for them. Let me just check how many of these are there. So there's still a buy now button up, and it's still saying calculating. It's not giving us the remaining editions right now. So how much gems have I got left? So I've got a bit more gems left. I could probably spare another 7 gems for this comic, but I also want to go for a lot of the drops this week. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do here. I think the drop may just be waiting for a market right now. I mean, I think it's a smart, I think it's going to be a smart move to buy another one. I really do. Right, so I'm debating. Should I buy another one? Should I buy another one? Put yes, buy another one if I should buy another one. I will try and catch up with the chat. So yeah, in my opinion, Stan, I would say it's the first. Duck and cover, can you imagine how much cheese you make with that power? Yeah, can you imagine, right? Not only that, you could literally just put people to sleep, and so you don't necessarily have to kill them, right? But you could be an assassin, you could put them to sleep, you can make them fall in love with you, you could do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that would be a crazy power to have. It's a very inventive power, I must admit. I like the idea of the whole comic book, the way it happens, the way she was just a normal doctor, the Kingpins kidnap her, and then they drug her, and then it's actually her blood and the drug concoction goes wrong. She dies, but then wakes up like this zombie kind of thing with these powers that can just touch anyone, give you any drug in the world. Absolutely crazy story. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this one, make sure this isn't selling out yet. So this is not sold out yet. So I'm really surprised at that. And there's 3,200 editions left. And I'm really surprised at that. I think I'm going to hit another one. Again, there is a lot of drops this week. So this will sell out, I would say, after this week's gone. This will 100% sell out. I pretty much guarantee this is going to sell out. So it's weird. I'm surprised it hasn't sold out yet. I thought this would be an instant sellout, I must admit. But maybe the comics have put people off that bad. 1 second. I mean, I'm still happy with my purchases, and I think I'm going to buy another one. Let me know. Should I buy another one? Alexander Crypto. Well, Alex in Crypto. I said Alexander then. I thought that was Alexander, short for Alexander. Hey, everyone. How you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. Always been a great supporter as well. Always see you everywhere as well. Gus Hall, yo, Bob Sales, how you doing, mate? I'm not too bad. I've got a bit of a bad throat. I was actually supposed to go to London today and meet Metaverse Life and some other the veve fam, and I actually just didn't get there. And then I actually thought that streaming this drop was more important than going there. That explains how big I actually thought this drop is. Well, to me, this drop is definitely that big, right? So I've supported veve this whole time. 100%, I'm going to buy the first physical digital comic that's coming out. And I have sent someone to the event to hopefully get me a couple of things like that. So I'm really counting on that person. I'm really, really counting on that person. And it's going to cost me double the money to post all that stuff. Obviously, I've then got to post it to myself, then going to cost more money. So I'm paying double what every American's paying or anyone at the con's paying right now. But I'm that bullish on it, right? But yeah, I've got a bad throat. I feel a bit rough today. But yeah, I'm all right. Thank you for asking, my friend. Stan, in your opinion, is the future of vision of veve becoming clearer? Is it time to pull the trigger before things go bananas? I think it should be coming clearer. I mean, if this ain't an attempt at advertising and pushing veve right now, I don't know what it is. Like, recently we had all the Sesame Street drops and stuff. They had a bit of advertising. They had the articles and stuff. All right, great. All right, it didn't go down well with the actual fans themselves. They all just heard the name NFT like most people do and thought rug. And I can't say I blame them. Every YouTube channel's like, yeah, NFT's rug. Even YouTube channels I watch, like, there was one I was watching the other day about histories of stuff, or just, I can't remember what the video was, but even he said, oh, they made an NFT. So that explains their situation in a minute. And it's like, seriously, dude, every video, like, if you don't know something, don't talk about it. But yeah, I do think the vision for veve is big, and I do think veve are so far ahead right now. I'm sure they might not get caught up at this point. And if Veveverse still to come, there's all these events, there's Funko. I mean, look at my background. As you can see, the Funko collection is real. I would show you upwards, but for some reason my camera control's not working, so I have no idea why that's not working. But again, after this week's done, there's a lot of drops this week, a lot of good drops. I mean, X-Men 1, the other Spider-Man comic that's coming now, and I mean, some people do like the X-Men as well, but for the cost price, it's probably not for me. Ron English as well, so there is quite a few drops. One second, I'll be with you in 1 second. Hello, sorry about that. I heard a big bang, so I wondered what it was. I was just finding out. Where were we? Sorry, I've lost my pattern where I was now. But yeah, I do believe the Funko partnership is absolutely huge. Marvel has now made a comic with veve on. Come on. How can these partnerships be any smaller at the minute? If I think this is a veve's big push to try and make something happen. Even the Louis Vuitton shoes, or whatever they're called, like, that's a big partnership. I can't afford them myself. A lot of people can't afford them here, but a lot of celebrities do wear them shoes. They are very valuable shoes. Even a Duchess, like the King of England soon, well, one day, even wears them shoes. Beyonce, Katy Perry, the list goes on. So you could potentially get celebrity people coming to veve through them shoes. So let me just have another check of this comic 1 second, see where it is. Right, so the buy now button is still up, and there's only 2,400 left, and I am going to go for another one. 1 second. Alex and Crypto, I wish they dropped the younger Magneto for the FA, but I'm defo going to get both in the secondary. I actually like the Magneto, but I don't like the face. The face looks a bit off to me, I must admit. And the animation's a bit simple. I like the new idea. That's the thing. Not all these new ideas will pay off, so I can appreciate that veve's tried a new thing. They've tried a new art style to try and make the drop a bit more interesting. But for me, I think Magneto's not for me. Professor X is a bit more to the original, to the 90s cartoon series. I actually kind of like Professor X, but I'm not willing to pay that price this week, because I do believe that most of these drops are going to have the effect of the next drops coming, the next drops coming, the next drops coming. So they could go down pretty quick. But then after the week's done, everyone's finished spending money, that may go back up, right? And I do believe a lot of the ones that are unsold, like this one, if it stays unsold, there's only 2,000 left. That's not staying unsold. But if that stays unsold till the next 3-4 days, that will sell out by the end of the drops. 100%. Is this the best Comic Con drop ever for veve? Well, the Marvel one is definitely going to be the best one. The Marvel comic book, because that's an actual Marvel official comic and it's actually got veve on it. So that's definitely going to be the best one. But this is also a very important one. Well, to me it is. So, and I think it should be to every veve user. If you've been here this whole time collecting veve stuff, all these new partnerships, you should be trying to get in while you can. Like, they're the first ones. The Funko toy, okay, not a lot of people in Funko like the gold toy. I do get that. They did release a couple of Snoop Dogg toys. But again, the Snoop Dogg toys are still pretty valuable, right? And people do collect Funkos. Again, the price is on the higher end, but Funkos do sell bags, just literally carry school bags that are $100 each. So let's not forget you get a digital NFT with that. There's only 3,000 of the NFTs themselves, 3,000 of the art pieces themselves, the toy, and there's 5 rarities between the 3,000 NFTs. So that makes a small number. Again, it's not going to be FA nothing. It could be FA Tony Stark, I suppose, because he's not got his helmet. But I would say it's not FA nothing because you've got the Golden Moments Iron Man. You've got the animated Iron Man, which I say is the best one. And then you've got that Iron Man, which is going to be with a helmet off and a completely different thing. But again, that is going to be on veve as a veve Funko partnership, right? So that's if you think of it in that direction as well, that's another way of thinking about it. So yeah, I do think this is the best, some of the best drop announcements. It's been the best couple of weeks for veve, I would say. The largest push for more users in different places other than Web3 and Web2 and on Twitter and stuff like that. So Duck and Cover's talking to Stan. Duck and Cover, I knew you'd say that. I've been waiting forever for more Tokidoki. I know Hello K is a big Tokidoki collector as well. Hello K is a bit of a shill in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. I don't shit on anyone's parade. But that guy only seems to say anything when it's negative about veve recently. He's sold, I think, nearly everything. And I think when you sell something and you're not involved anymore, I think that's when you should keep quiet. I don't think it should matter to you anymore, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad. It's a shame you didn't get an airdrop, but if you did watch my Tokidoki video, I did actually put a bit in the end of there for you. I don't know whether you actually see that or not, Duck and Cover, but I put a bit at the end of that video for you. I don't know whether you see that, but it was your tweet saying, well, where's my airdrop, etc. And then if you didn't see it, there is a new release from Tokidoki in October for Halloween, which is a new Unicorno set. Monocorno, Unicorno, same thing, right? So it's a new set of them, and they look exactly the same as the one we're getting veve. They're a different season, so that's possible they could airdrop some of those, or there could in fact be another series releasing on veve. And I do reckon when Halloween comes, that is going to be one of the drops we are going to get. So you heard it here first. That is the alpha. That is probably going to come to veve. And again, there's physicals. And right now, the only ones for sale are the $13 blind box physical toys, the smaller versions. But again, like the other ones, what we're just getting as well, because they've actually got toys releasing literally this week as well. So like the other ones, they actually have the bigger ones for $170 and then the smaller for $13. So again, and they're at the event as well. So I think that helps Tokidoki sell out this drop because they're at the event. There's possibly veve fan that are going to meet them there. They're probably doing talks at the event as well. And there's physicals at the event. There's bound to be some physicals of Tokidoki at the event. I do believe people are going to want to match it. I mean, even I have Tokidoki physicals in my back. Dead coins. I'm a collector for most of things veve have. I have over 200 collectibles, 700 comic books. Well done. Congratulations. I think mine's on... I think I'm on about 300 comic books. I've also got 40 in another account. I've nearly got rid of that account, by the way. I'm still flawed that whole account, but I've nearly got rid of it because I'm trying to put it all in one. And I think, so I think I'm on about 300 comics and probably about 100 collectibles, maybe under that. But I know my fault value for my collectibles It's the first time it's ever been over £10, I must admit. Normally, I didn't go down that route, but I see the decline in comics, and I've been collecting comics this whole time. My bag's just sat there going down slowly. So the whole time, even though I still believe in them, I did start playing the collectibles game because I do still like to make money in the app when I can, to then buy more stuff I actually like from the app, right? So yeah, well done on that collection. Hopefully people still keep collecting. I know there's less of us in there, but again, I think if any of these companies take off, if anyone gets a mass adoption, it's going to be veve. And I think if Veveverse comes and it's really, really good, I think that will help also. For me, it's probably not going to be for me. I'm probably going to build a vault, and that's probably going to be as far as I go in there. I may do some streams in there if I get invited to some stuff like that. But for me, I'm probably going to build a vault, and that's probably that. I've got a PS5, I've got PS4. If I want to play a game, I'm going to play that. But again, for stuff like events, maybe you could have NFT auctions in there. You could have like what Arcade does on his game show. You could do the game shows in there and stuff like that. So yeah, I can definitely see the vision for that. It's more of an interaction than anything. Stan, wow, I'm so pumped. And this is only the beginning. It's a pleasure to share the space with early adopters. Yeah, I agree with you. It is a pleasure. All the people that are here now, even some of the ones that are always fudding, let's face it, they're still here because they want to see things work out. And there's a difference between being critical and fudding as well. Some people are just critical, and sometimes you need to be critical. A lot of the times, veve do make silly mistakes. They can make silly mistakes. But again, I think veve are going in the right direction. I think they're hard to beat. So let's check the next one. Let me just check where this floor is. So have we actually got the floors up yet? I don't know whether any of the floors have come up yet. So let's have a look. Let's see. So this comic is doing, unsurprisingly, very, very bad. So the commons are 2 gems, which I'm not too surprised about. What's the uncommon on? The uncommon's 5 gems. So, and that looks to be going up, if anything. Yeah, that's just gone up to 6 gems. I think the uncommon will go up from there. What is the ultra rare on? Let me just check the ultra. So the secret rare is only on 60. So the comic's not doing too great price-wise, but give it a couple of days, it might pick up. And I definitely still think this is an important comic, and I'm always going to keep this comic anyway. Let me see what the ultra rare is on. So the ultra rare is 15. So this seems to be trending like a normal sort of comic drop we had right now. And I think this one's being disrespected a little bit, I must say. I do think people are going to remember this comic at the end of the week after the Marvel one's out the way, after X-Men's out the way. I do think that's going to be remembered. 1 second, let me just answer this message. One second, people. I'll be with you in a second. So yeah, the price hasn't done well, I must admit. I expected a lot better. I expected more people to hold that. But I do see a lot of people buying that up, and I'm still happy with mine, and I'm still going to buy another one, I think. I think that is the best way to go. So 1 second, let me get back to the chat. Duck and cover, dead coins. Wow, that's awesome. Talking to each other. Talking to each other. Talking to each other. Sorry, everyone. I know I'm behind on the chat, but you're all having a whale of a time in there. People dismiss it as little. Now that's about My Little Pony rules. People dismiss it for little girls, but it's so good. The voice actors for the show amazing. Duck and cover. I'm ashamed of you right now. Although I know my friend Double Quill's really happy with you right now, so I can appreciate that. But yeah, Bob's definitely not a brony, even with his pink hat, right? But I know what one is funny enough. Dead coins. I think the secret rare cover has a Harley Quinn feel to it. Yeah, it does definitely have that feel to it. I actually really like it. I'm going to keep mine. I'm not going to sell it. I'm actually going to keep all of that stuff I've just brought. And again, I'm going to do most of that most of this week. I'm definitely going to go for the Ron English. I'm definitely going to go for the Marvel Spider-Man veve comic one. I'm definitely going to go for X-Men. I think you're crazy if you don't. So I'm more sticking to the comics. I'm definitely doing the Tokidoki as well because I like Tokidoki. I just can't. I'll just decide at the end of the week how much gems I've got to actually go for the 35 gem gold one or go for the 13 gem. The gold one could be worth probably 70, 80 gems. I don't see it going much further than that, but I do think that's going to be worth probably more around 100 gems, I'd say. But yeah, I do agree. It does have a Harley Quinn look to it. Just everyone's talking to each other. Golden muffins, please. What is that about? That must be another. That must be a My Little Pony thing. Duck and Cover 26 watching, 14 likes. I'm not a maths guy, but yeah, I agree. Duck and Cover. Everyone like the video if you can, please. The Algos absolutely hate me, and I've been going for quite a while. I've been going for two years now on veve, and I don't know how I'm still catching up. And the vids are definitely getting better, but then the space is getting smaller at this current time. So yeah, Stan, veve must believe in their independent artists. The addict to drop a physical before the alt. Yeah, I think it was a bit weird to drop both at the same time. They could have waited a week, sold out the first one and waited a week and done the other one after and done it as an online order thing. But again, I think if any of the two should have been that should have been the addict one, because the addiction one is less important than Marvel right now, right? And Marvel's at the event, veve are right next door. So there should be a push on that comic as well this week. But yeah, this comic will pick up. I'm pretty confident that this one's going to sell out. It's going to pick up. I mean, how many's left now? 1 second. We'll just have a look. So they're still selling. There's 1,900 left. So they're still selling slowly. W's, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I think. And that's for the market to open, right? As a UK insider, any updates on the Banksy drop? No, I have no idea about the Banksy drop right now. What's happening to it? I've got a funny feeling that veve may have just pushed it aside because it's Brandalism, not Banksy. But if you do go back, I have actually made 2 Banksy videos. So I made Dismalland, which was about his theme park, and I've actually made the Banksy video, the history of Banksy. There's a lot in that one you should probably go and watch. That's pretty cool. And it actually explains the whole Brandalism thing. So Brandalism actually owned that artwork. That is a whole legal thing. So Brandalism stole the artwork off a wall. They do this to every artist, by the way. They don't just do it to Banksy. They steal the artwork off the wall because it is free. It's illegal to paint there in the first place, and it's free. Everyone can see it. So they've literally took it off the wall. And they've then gone to court, actually, in Banksy's case. They've actually gone to court. And Banksy actually lost the case for his artwork for that. For that case, he actually lost that. So Brandalism are actually allowed to do what they like. That is actually classed as their artwork. Even though it's not, it still is. So I'm probably still going to buy it. But if you go off people like Ron English, for instance, like he would not like that. Banksy would not like that. None of the artists would like that, I must admit. But it's still a Banksy. So I think I'm still going to go for it, but we've heard nothing. And I think the reaction of the veve fam at first at the event was really good because I was at the event because it was UK Decon It Broke. So I was at the event. Everyone was excited. But then when they started to see it was Medicom and Randalism that was doing it, everyone started to look at each other and say, well, hang about, how's this Banksy then? So yeah, it is Banksy, but it's not Banksy. But legally, it's brandalized. But yeah, I'm not sure if veve have just decided not to do that drop because of the negative reaction some people did give them. Well, it's not a real Banksy then. But then it's like LMX, for instance. They just released the Mona Lisa. It's not the real Mona Lisa, is it, people? Come on. So yeah, there's 2 ways of looking at things. But great question. Duck and Cover hit the uncommon. The uncommon's probably one of the best ones on this one, and the ultra rare. Got the rare. The rare's not too bad, but again, uncommon and ultra rare are probably the best one. Congratulations, everyone, by the way. I do believe this comic will go up. You haven't made a mistake. So, and it's literally history right now for all of us that have sat here for the last 2 years. It is history. Got the rare. Congrats. We got any secret? Yeah, here we go. Backdoor kicks. Congratulations, secret rare. That's what I like to see. Double quill got the common. Worst case, I'll sell you my uncommon. No, I'm joking. I'm not selling this uncommon. Yeah, the common's not the best one. I think the common's probably the worst, even though I do like it. Ronnie Lighter, what cover did you get, mate? I see 576. Do you know what cover you got? What's up, fam? How are you, my friend? Always a positive guy of the community. Always follow this guy's Twitter as well, because he's actually absolutely, he's a generous guy. He likes to do giveaways and stuff like that. He likes to play games of guess where you are and stuff like that. And he's a pleasure to know. It's always around the community. So I hope you're well, fam. Let's take a look. Stand superb background videos you give to the enthusiasts. Thank you very much. I try, I must admit. I do try. I try to say as positive as I can. Sometimes it's not as easy when veve do some stupid stuff now and again. I mean, the 100th James Bond poster, a bit weird, right? And like the Tarzan comic, for instance. The Tarzan comic's my pet peeve. So the first one done all right. The second one didn't do nothing. Third one didn't do nothing. Fourth one didn't do nothing. By the time you're doing 10, it's just a meme at this point, and it's just funny. So yeah, wife got a secret rare. Congratulations. I have no idea how to say that name. I'm not going to even attempt that because my list will not allow me to say that. 847. That's actually a great mint number too. Duck and Cover's going to buy one more. I'll tell you what, Duck and Cover, where is my phone? Let's hit another secret rare, shall we? In fact, I'll buy this one on here. Let me go back. Let's put another one in there. You ready? Wish me luck, folks. One pending delivery. So hopefully we get a good one. Let's just check. 1 second. Let's have a look. 5 editions. So let's see what we got. Switch. I got common gated again. Common gated again. Let me have a look. Oh, that's a bad number. It's a bad number. So I didn't do very well on that one, lads and women. Women and lads and aliens that are in the chat. But yeah, I'm still happy with all of them purchases. I'm not going to lie to you. I still think this comic's very underrated. And I do think these floors are going to get bought up. And I do think it's also going to sell out. Congratulations. That must be on the secret rares. Either mine or yours. Congrats, Bob. Thank you very much, my friend. Congrats on yours. 2 commons I'll give up heading to the market. I don't blame you, Double Quill. I've landed 3 commons now and the secret rare and the uncommon. So if I was to sell everything now, I will break even, maybe make a little bit of profit, right? But I'm still happy for what I just did. I'm still happy. It's still significant. I think people are crazy not buying this comic right now. And I do think this is going to sell out after the next 3 days. I think people are just so scared on gems right now. There's a lot of stuff to buy, a lot of drops to go through. So it's probably not the best idea to go for multiples of different drops. But again, X-Men 1, are you going to go for multiples of that? You're definitely going to go for multiples, right? Duck and Cover brought 3 in amount of gems. Yeah, I'm about 80 gems, I think, for the rest of the week, but I may put another 20 gems in worst case if I need it for something, because I am going to try and flip some of the stuff this week and try and make some money along the way to then buy some stuff for the next drops. Again, I'm only streaming the drops because I'm actually interested in a lot of these drops this week. And it's a big, big event. It's like one of the biggest veve events we've had so far to date. Although it's a New York Comic Con, it's still one of the biggest attempts for veve to make a push and mass market. So let's go to next comment. Alex of Crypto. W, I got the uncommon. Let's go. I actually like the uncommon and the ultra rare. I think they're the best covers. So congratulations on that. People will be pairing that shortly. We will see that soon. Only half sold, no half not sold. There was 6,000 for sale because 850 was kept behind by veve and the licensors. And there's now 1,900 the last time I looked. So there's 4,000 sold right now. But again, there's so many drops this week and good drops this week. Give it till after all them drops are gone. We'll see them get bought up. I got 5 commons, dead coins. That is absolutely bad luck. That is terrible luck. That is absolutely crazy luck. I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. But again, I think it's still a good comic book. The common is probably the worst one to get, not just down to the rarity, but the cover doesn't actually relate to anything at this point. It may at the event though, so do not lose hope. There may be more. It does say there's 18 other comic covers, so with foil and hollow foil and all that stuff on. So we'll see what they come like first before carting it off. Ronnie Lito, 1 common, 2 rare so far. 1 more to reveal, and it's mint 655. So you've actually done overall pretty well, I would say, price-wise, if you're looking at it that way. But again, I think if you're into veve, you've supported them this whole time, you're an idiot if you don't buy this comic. I mean, even if you don't buy 1 comic, I think you've got to support the cause this time around. And I think all these partnerships, you should support them as much as you can, because they might not happen, they might not keep happening if it don't look like they're actually starting to work, right? So if YouTube, click the common, scroll down, and you can see how many are left. 1 second, where's my thing? Yeah, so you got probably, so there's 1,500 left, 1,600 left at this point, I would say. From a StreamYard, I'm going to try and run through these comments a bit quicker. Sorry, guys. I am trying to get to your comments. I'm doing the My Collectibles right now. Thank you for that advice, by the way. I always forget the screens there. I must admit, I'm still new to all this live streaming stuff. 2 uncommon, 1 common. That is actually, I wouldn't actually say that's a bad hand for today. I like the uncommon and the ultra rares. Bought 2 uncommons. How much are the uncommons right now? I think I might just buy one. $2 in the market. That's for the common. I'm actually really surprised at that. I thought it would hold box price. I thought this was whole box price. So I'm really shocked at that. But again, there's a lot of good drops coming up this week. So people are just going to be flipping in and out of drops this week, trying to make the next buck, right? And I do think that's when collectors are actually going to take advantage. And I don't say collectors a lot about half this stuff, but when it comes to these special edition comics like this one and the next one and X-Men 1, for instance, even though that's X-Men 1, like, I think you got to go in for them. Ronnie Lito, uncommon 576, rare 3167, rare 1627, ultra rare 655. That's a good one to keep. That ultra rare and the uncommon are definitely worth keeping. Not too sure on the rares. We'll keep an eye on them. But again, the artwork on the rares does look really nice. Kind of reminds me of one of the other artists we have in veve. Captain Kirk brought 5, 4 rare and 1 common. Let's go. So you actually did all right, I must admit. I've got 5. Where is my 5? Let me go back. So I got 5. And I got the secret rare was my best pull. I don't know how I managed to get that. And then I got 440 as well. I think the mint numbers for this one starts at 200 editions. Let me just check the article. Yes, so the first public edition for sale is 201. So mine's just double that. Not mad though. I don't blame you, to be honest. I wouldn't be mad. Like I said, I was willing to take a loss. If it was to sell for no gems, I was willing to take that this time, because this is a very special comic. And I think it's only being overlooked down to the other drops that are coming out. Duck and cover. The most bullish thing I've seen recently are the Funko YouTubers taking a mick out of veve and then changing their minds a week later. I didn't like that video, I must admit. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hold my punches neither. That was all rigged. That all seemed fake. That all seemed acted. I'm not going to lie to you. It seemed like That was the whole plan the whole way through. That video was to FUD it, to get everyone's attention around the community. We all know that if you FUD something in the VV community, the VV community come, right? And I actually reckon, honestly, that was a plan. And they actually set that up from the beginning. They knew what they were doing. They were trying to FUD the project first to get everyone's attention around VV, because some people were just going to watch 10 seconds of the video and say, well, screw this. And I do reckon they knew by the end of the video, if they still had people there, that was going to also keep the viewership. I do believe that was set up. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually believe that whole interview was set up. They just seemed a bit, yeah, to me, they just seemed a bit fake, I must admit. One sec. 55% sold at the minute. That needs updating now. Hey, friends. Hey, Delco. Just got a 3-digit ultra rare for $11.99. That's a good purchase. So the ultra rare is on $11.99. That's crazy. So I think I might actually have to buy one of them and complete the set. Whoa, I don't know. I've spent, I don't know. I might have to. I'll keep looking on that today, because that may go down lower before tomorrow, before the rest of the drops this week. I think everything's going to pick up once the event's done. That's when it normally does. Alex and Crypto shutting off the app now. Yeah, I'm going to shut mine off, I think. Duncan cover. Kingpin is the best out of the 3 collectibles. Yeah, I agree with you. Kingpin is actually the best out of the collectibles. And that was actually one of the videos I was making. I've done the script for. I recorded the script for, but I didn't actually get done putting video to that. So I may try and finish that one, because I've done that in like a 2-minute history. Kingpin has a big history, by the way. And he actually started in first appearance of an Amazing Spider-Man comic. Not Daredevil and stuff like that. I thought he was always a Daredevil villain. No, he was Spider-Man villain first. But yeah, I do like the Kingpin one. It's a shame it's no animation, though. That sucks. No animation. I like everything to be animated these days. Vivi spoiled us a bit on the animations. I like animations. I prefer the animations. That's what I like to play with in AR and stuff. So yeah. Only thing is, you do need to pause them in the Viviverse, otherwise it's going to sound like a mad arcade. Gus all 61%. It's going up. It's going up. Gus, I'm nearly caught up, mate. People lose duck and cover. People lose sight of the fact that we're spoiled to have chance to stack this stuff. You are right, duck and cover, and you could have come on here to join me anytime. You know, I did say that. Just check that. Just gonna try to catch through these comments quick. This all makes me sound like a whiner. Now you're fine. But people at the Comic-Con might pick it up. I still think it will sell out before the end of the weekend. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's going to sell out 100%. 1 second. Let me just answer this phone. Hello, sorry about that. Door went. So just go back to this. Yeah, I do agree. Double quill 100%. Duck and cover agrees too. SoCal homie. Do you expect any new user wallet growth as a result of New York Comic Con drops, announcement, releases? That is a good question. So a lot of people at Comic Con are there for Marvel and stuff like that. Marvel and comic collaboration. That should get some new users, I would say. Now, the Addiction comic, they're a smaller brand themselves. They're an independent company. This is their first foray into making comics, right? So they're not actually been making comics a lot of the time. The guy just runs like a buying and selling site where he buys comics and then sells them. That's basically how it is. But it's a big, they have high value stuff. So I'm not 100% sure. I expect Ron English should bring people in. I expect X-Men 1 should bring people in. That should sell out instantly. Toki Doki can have an effect, but it all depends on how Toki Doki advertise it and where they advertise it and if then people can access it. But yeah, I do overly think that most of these partnerships are going to have a huge effect. Even the Funko partnerships, even if they don't want to buy it, people are still going to look to see what the veve logo is on the item, why it's worth the price it is. They're all going to look at that straight away. They're going to go to the site, check that out. We know that's going to happen. So yeah, I do think there will be some growth. I don't know whether it's going to be exponential but then it could be because this is not a veve event. So there's more people there from other walks of life that are not there just to see veve, right? It's like Decon. Most of the people at the UK Decon was all there to see veve. I think there was 1,000 people in line, and I think there were 2 people walking around the actual Decon stuff at the time when we first got there. So that showed me who was there to see veve and who was not. So yeah, I do think it's a great start. Rob Cooks, Uncommon Moving. Thank you for the other day. You made a comment the other day on something in one of my videos, and it actually was really helpful. I'm going to actually have a look at the market. 1 second. Let's go back to that. Yeah, so the Uncommon's still on 5 gems. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I didn't expect any, apart from the common. Let me go to the market. 1 second. Just going to the market. Come on. Let's check what the ultra rares are. See, the ultra rares on 13 gems. Is there a 3-digit there? That's crazy cheap. That's a crazy buy right there. Only 6,000 editions for sale. That's crazy. Crazy. Well, there is 850 held back, but obviously they will go to the con event. I think. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Let me check the uncommon again. 490. So the uncommons. Yeah. So we're going to see about this. Let me just have a quick look at my veve feed. Let me just have a quick look at veve feed. Let's see. I can't go to... Oh, look, that's an interesting post. Let me share this. Let me share this with you. So can you see the screen? So this is a good post. No tactic, my friend Arno. I can't go to New York, so I tried to buy the comic from the website as soon as it was available. It's United States only again. Why do they do that for a worldwide app? I must admit. veve Bam's in there. See what else we've got on here just quickly. Want to see if there's any more. Yep, I did notice that, I must admit. Just trying to see if we can find any of these physicals been brought yet, because I reckon there will be. Come on, veve fam, where are you? I've already seen some of the other ones been brought, so... Oh, look at that. Look at the size of that. That's pretty cool. Let me go back to the chat 1 second. Akomi needs to pick up to social. PlanetVampire.com. The Ron English comic looks like it's going to be fire, though, if we can land one. I do agree, the Ron English book, there's 2 cover variations only. That is the first time ever for veve. That is a great move by veve. And I do believe we might see more comic books that only have the 2 cover variations. And Ron put a lot of artwork, a lot of effort into them 2 covers. They are absolutely amazing covers. And the storybook itself is apparently a really good story. Has a lot of the stuff about the rabbits in there. And what other stuff is in there? There's quite a few bits he listed in there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember now, but there is quite a few bits. And I do believe that one will sell out because these people are going to be bullish because the New York Comic-Con event, the after party with the Mogul Grin, that is with all Ron English's artwork in that event. Ron English will be there signing stuff. So I can see them selling out really good. And I actually like the physicals. I would actually like a couple of them as well. I'm hoping the person I asked to get me some stuff actually gets me that and a couple of these addiction covers, I must admit. So I'm hoping, I'm praying. But yeah, I do believe that's going to be a valuable one. We're all just talking to each other. When is the secret drop? I have not heard of no secret drop. They keep saying there is no secret drop, so we never know. It will be when I'm not looking at the app, I can tell you that much. There's 6.5 Jones for the uncommon is better than 80% of the Marvel comics, 100 million%. That is doing really well, which just goes to show it's the 2 covers that are probably going to be the pickups. 7% sold roughly. Alex and Crypto, I'm surprised how well the uncommon is doing. Is it because of the veve? Yes, 100%. We know both the uncommon and ultra rare are physicals at the event. You can buy them. There is 18 other variations of these covers. I'm not sure if they're one-offs or if there's like 10 of them or 100 of them. So there is 18 other versions, special New York covers, what they have to sell you at the event. So there's a couple of extra one with extra hollow, tinfoil hollow on there and stuff like that. Extra New York Comic-Con logo in the top. And I'm actually surprised at how well the uncommon's doing. But again, it is down to the covers being at the event. I do believe the uncommon and the ultra rare are the best covers. They both got veve on as well. And that's the significance of this comic. Brandalism are still very down on the Banksy drops. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I can kind of see both ends of it. They did win the court case at the end of the day. But again, Ron would frown upon it. Banksy would frown upon it. Fun under the sun. Good morning, fam. Good morning. Fun under the sun. Always under the sun over there. You got Bob living in the dark over here. Dan stacking so early. Yeah, I think it's worth. I think it's worth it. Stan, Omi or collectibles for you? Definitely collectibles. I have not brought any Omi. When I first joined this app, I didn't know about Omi for the first 4 months. And I'm not going to lie to you. If I knew about Omi, I probably wouldn't have jumped into it because I'm not too keen on stuff like that and crypto and stuff like that. Never really done that much research into it. But again, I was one of them people where I've seen it everywhere, where it's normally Mayweather rug, Dylan Danish rug, Logan Paul rug, like you name it, they've done a rug, right? So I would say I believe in the vision, the collectibles, the comics more than the Omi side of it. I must admit, I do have like 5,000 Omi, and that was given to me by my collectibles for the Drophead Winners Awards. But yeah, I'm really not bullish on Omi, I must admit. But it is going to take off when everything starts playing out. And I will be the one probably kicking myself at the end of that. But I still think there's an opportunity to buy Omi yet, where it's still going down on a steadily slope. But again, the next announcement, that thing will pump again. And that could be a time to take profits and then sell and then wait for the slow decline again. But at some point, that will take off, I do think. So I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, I believe in the vision of veve more than anything, the AR functions, stuff like that. And the fandom, the IP is just crazy. It's going to be like Funko one day, where you can type in any film, any program, any music creator, and you can find the toy to match it, but it will be the NFT. 1 second. Omi collectible for you. Duck and cover. I'll jump on stream with you tomorrow. Got to be there for the Tokidoki drop. It's not the Tokidoki drop tomorrow, is it? Is it tomorrow? And I have got Captain O coming on tomorrow, so you'll have to. Yeah, you can jump on by all means, but she will be with us and she's a good laugh. So if you do come on, let me know and I'll send you a link for that. I think she's coming on tomorrow. It could be any day this week, to be fair. I've given her the option depending on what drop she actually likes. Sorry, 1 second. So yeah, I'll jump on stream with you tomorrow. But yeah, you're more than welcome, Duck and Cover. I will be doing the streams tomorrow because I'm pretty bullish this week on all the stuff we've got coming. So that is why I'm doing the streams this week. Plus, I know a lot of people are busy at the event and they do want a good stream, right? Stan, Jermaine Rogers partnership is just as bossy as Ron. Any updates, info on him? Jermaine Rogers. Yeah, Jermaine Rogers is a good one. I'm not so keen on Jermaine Rogers' artwork, I must admit. I'm trying to think of the one I had it before. What's its name? The Crawling something. But yeah, I'm not so keen on Jermaine Rogers, I must admit. And Ron English is definitely a higher ranked artist than Jermaine Rogers. That's 100% confirmed. Ron English has done a lot more in his life. Same as Frank Koziak, he done a lot more in his life. But Jermaine Rogers is a great artist, but he's not up there with what I would say Banksy, Ron English, because I would say Ron English is on Banksy's level, if not a bit higher than Banksy around the world. But again, Banksy's known everywhere. Ron English ain't. So there is that to it. But Ron English is probably up there with Banksy. And I think Banksy would even tell you that. Stan, any predictions on Pokemon? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe they rugged us on that. I don't think we're getting Pokemon anytime soon. Although Al Khan's been part of this project for years. It does just seem like we're getting teased at, and it's not going to happen. Stan, tokenized Pokemon cards have already dropped. I'm not sure on them. I'm not sure on them Pokemon cards. I'm not sure. I looked at the Pokemon cards, but I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure. I need to do more research on that because I don't know anything about it. I'm not sure about where they've come from, if it's an official or if it's just someone that's copied the Pokemon cards, right? So I've really got to have a look at that. I did see some of them. They look all right. But again, until I look into the project, I can't judge on that. Ton Collect landed an uncommon and picked up a rare and ultra rare. I don't blame you. This is a great cover. I do believe this is going to sell out any minute. Where are we now? Let me see where it is on the ranking. Let me see if it's sold out yet. So it hasn't sold out yet, but there is under 1,000 left. In fact, there's less. Yeah, there's about 1,000, under 1,000 left. So this is going to sell out by the end of tonight by the looks of this. Oh, I'm not even showing you. So now I'll actually show you. So yeah, there's under 1,000 left. And this is going to sell out by today by the looks of this. So that's only good news. It's just taking a while. Now I've lost my StreamYard thing. Where's the StreamYard thing? And we're back. Can't wait to spend my MCP points. I'm still not that bullish on MCP points. I'm not sure the calculations are still right. But it's good to have something, right? If we can spend them. The only thing is the richer get richer with MCP points. The richer can afford to buy more. So they're going to be able to get in a lot of the bigger drops, right? Which us smaller people could probably use sometimes. So that's another way of looking at it. But again, people should be rewarded for the collecting and holding this whole time. Of course they should. You can't argue with that. Duck and Cover, I've got to disagree about the setup just because the dude generally seemed to have never heard of veve. I've got to disagree about the setup just because the guy. No, that was definitely a setup. They knew what veve was before they started making that video. I can 100% tell you that they knew what they were doing before making that video. That was a planned video. That was a planned video to make veve people come in, see they were hating on veve, and then see they didn't hate on them in the end. And then everyone from the veve fam said, oh yeah, I've got to subscribe to you. That was 100% what that was. From a YouTuber, that was what that was. I'm pretty convinced on that, I must admit. Throw a Comey, morning throw, good to see you. Good morning. I'm up to 20 commons now. Bob Sales. Don't blame me, mate. I'm going big on this one. So I've hit 5 already. I'm a bit broke at the minute, and I do need to cover drops for a week. So I'm going to hold off there. I did get a secret rare. I got 3 commons, and I got the uncommon. So I'm waiting for an ultra rare. But I am just going to buy that in the market because it's like 12 gems, and I think I could catch. It could be worth buying them before they pump by the end of the weekend. Just depends how much money you've all got, right? A lot of people are holding for drops right now. Some people are still obviously selling for their next drop, which is a bit of a silly move. Stan, the FUD machine wheels seem to be loosening a bit. Yeah, I agree. It does seem to be loosening a bit. The most people that are still here seem to be the ones that actually still believe in their vision. This plan was always a 5-year plan to me and all the other YouTubers, yet half of them have left 2.5 years in and seem to have gone to every other place but veve to try and make a new plan, right? I'm still quite confident in my plan. Yes, there's been some things that have been worrying with veve. Yes, there's been a lot of mistakes with veve, but they still survived the bear market for nearly a year and a half now. They sold their first 2 years of drops out. So I'd say about 3 years. So 2 years sold out every drop. I don't think you can argue that they've got money in the bank. I don't think they're going to struggle as much as everyone else. And I do think if anyone's going to survive the space, it's going to be veve. But they can all survive. But I do think veve's got the best hope. Their coins, yeah, I bet Mr. Moneybags. Stan, in your opinion, will the Mighties outpace the full Mighty size collectibles? No, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like the Mighties. I don't like the Mighties. I prefer a full adult size collectible. I can understand that the Mighties may be a kind of Funko attempt sort of thing, because that's kind of what they look like. Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they could be chess pieces one day. But again, Funkos for me, I think a lot of them were overrated at the time. I think if you're buying 41 mint Funkos for £1,000 or £800 or whatever it is, I think you've lost the plot. I'm not going to lie to you. I think you've lost the plot. So yeah, I personally like the more adult-y looking collectibles that look how they should. No changes. I like them to look how they should. So I would say Mighties are probably not my bag. I have brought Mighties over the year, I must admit. My favorite, so if you was to ask me my favorite, it would definitely be the Odin one. The Odin was definitely better, and the quality improved over the time with them. But then sometimes you then get another drop and the quality's gone down. So I'm not really sure. It was quite cool to have the Ant-Man's mask and stuff to lift up, and that was a pretty cool idea. Very underrated at the time. No one really took much notice of it. But yeah, that was pretty cool. One second. Duck and cover speaking, Stan. veve fanatics are at NYC and the internet reception is done, and in that environment. Once the show ends today, I predict an uptick in sales from the diehards. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think there'll be a lot of people still waiting in the veve at the veve booth. It might not be so prominent because it's Comic-Con, but I think there'll still be people waiting at the veve booth, waiting to go for this. 1 second, let me just check this. One second. So I'm just going to go on a bit more here. Charles, I'm here. I went to pick up the veve addiction versions and they are sold out. Have they actually sold out? They said they would get some later and check again. Oh, the physicals. They've actually sold the physicals already. Crazy, right? Everyone's rushing to the booth to get the physicals right now rather than go for the drop, but that's going to catch up. That's great to know. I hope you have a good event, by the way. I really do. 1.8 million dead coins, 1.8 million NCP points spent. I hope we get nice things to spend it on. That's the thing. They've got to react because it's got to be worth having them, right? If all the drops are not selling out and stuff like that, there's no point having the MCP points because what can you do with it? If you can get the drops anyway, what's the fascination? But there will be stuff for that, and it will be worth having eventually. It's a shame that we have got a lot of the bigger comics right now, a lot of the bigger stuff, because that would have been when you would have used the MCP points to go on to buy purchase reservations for that drop. Stan, I agree. I am stacking mighties like crazy. I think they're underrated. Holy Grail. No, I don't think they are. I must admit, they're not my bag. But again, each to your own. But I really don't like the mighties, I must admit. But then they do have them at the events. They do have the statues at the events, and they look really nice. I must admit, the statues, the big statues they have on the booth. So that's the stand. God damn, that's going to take some time. How big is the ultimate throat with a veve logo and would it track? So that looks like a normal size collectible, I must admit. It looks like a normal size comic. Obviously the addiction one, the Vincent guy just had one a bit bigger. So you never know. And I don't know whether it's just that comic, that variation, or what with that one, because that one come out on the later version and was kind of announced at the AMA. So I'll have to go back. I did actually record the AMA on my channel by accident. I was opening some penguins and stuff, and then the AMA started. So I did just end up streaming that and watching that. So you can always go back and check that. There was quite a few bits of alpha dropped in there at the time. Duck and cover. Not only that, I've got the Toki Stoki stuff, all the Pelodromes, except the 2 that was taken from me 2 years back. Stan. Sorry about that. My nephew just saying bye to me. So where was I? Sorry about that. Where are we? So how big is the ultimate? Yeah, I read that one. Yeah, duck and cover. I like the Toki Doki stuff, I must admit, and it's a big brand. Toki Doki was actually started by Simone in 2002. And I don't know whether you watched the Toki Doki video, but it's pretty good, I must admit. For something that was kind of not as well edited, and I had my brain on other things at the time. But yeah, that was still a good video. So Simone actually started the art himself, went on from 2000 to 2002 by himself. And then I think it was Puna that actually was one of the investors, and Ivan. They were actually married, them two. And they both see the artwork on Simone's site and said, we should make this mass production. We should get this on t-shirts. We should put this on handbags. And the investors did, in fact, do that. And they took Simone to the next height. Puna herself has actually made loads of money right now on different investments over the years. She's actually really, really high value figure. And Toki Doki is actually a third investment company to date, a third purchase. The other one was, I think it was Candy, a makeup app. And that was a cosmetic app where she sold nail polish and stuff like that. It was actually very high price when it started. Now it's very average price, I must say. But again, it is a very big company, and she no longer has that company. She actually sold it for a massive profit and then went on to put a stake into Toki Doki. So they're very important to the Toki Doki story, I must admit. But all the artwork's from Simone. Stan, holy moly, you are a diehard duck and cover. He is a diehard, I must admit. And one Kenobi, even in all. Hello, mate. I hope you're well. I didn't get to London, as you can probably see. It was chucking it down this morning as well. So that made me even less hyped to go. And I did sit there thinking about it. And then in the end, I was just like, no, you know what? It's raining. It's been a long day. And I do hear there's rumors of one in January in Paris. And veve Magic's going to be there. And Ashley is going to go there because veve Magic literally suggested it to me. So yeah, I'm definitely going, right? So if there's any person you want to go around Disney with, it'll be veve Magic. And plus, I know quite a lot about Disney parks and stuff like that. So I'd actually be all right at that sort of conversations. Yeah. Duck and covers talking. Stan, definitely think long term. You wrong. You won't go wrong with the mighties, same as golden moments. I disagree with you all with the mighties, I must admit. Golden moments are a different thing. I don't think you can go wrong with them. Especially at the prices now. Obviously, a lot of people already went wrong with them, but right now, I don't think you can go wrong with them. And again, there is space for the Iron Man golden moments, and there is space for the animated golden moments, right? There's two different things. One's a statue, one's the Iron Man animated. So there's definitely space for both of them. And I do like both of them, I must admit. Only golden moment I ever picked up was the pizza truck. And I picked up a few other ones, but I've actually sold them since because I got desperate for drop money like normal. That sometimes happens. But yeah, and to all you people that stack the mighties, by the way, I hope it pays off for you. I hope it pays off for you. I don't mind missing an odd one. I don't mind if it goes the other way and I'm not invested. I hope it pays off. Don't like seeing people lose money, lose price, lose vault value around here. Even if I'm not involved, I'd like to see everyone win. Duck and cover, like Kiwi stuff, comes from the daughter. Yeah, I agree. That's more Toki Doki. Dead Coins have purchased all the physical comic books on their website, about 80 USD. Well done, mate. I don't blame you for that. I can't actually because it's American only again. So I don't actually blame you. I think they're going to be well worth holding. And let's face it, if veve does take off, this comic's 6,000 editions. Well, we'll count the other 850 because they probably will be given away today. But again, if veve does take off, that's not a huge amount. And the first veve physical digital comic, that's bound to get paired from all the physicals that have been brought. I mean, I highly suggest, I think it's still worth a buy. For me, I think it's a personal thing, and I'm happy to waste that money, if you call it, to get this one, because it's a big comic. All these partnerships are big. Nothing but big and exciting for me. Duck and cover, I heard someone suggest that Alcon might no longer be involved in veve. Thoughts? It wouldn't surprise me because Alcon has like teased veve for a long time about Pokemon and stuff like that, and nothing has come to fruition. Maybe he's been told to calm that down a little bit. You never know. But it was only last year he was at the event with his Pokemon top on, right? And his Pokemon suit. So who knows? But it's a bad thing for veve if they have got Pokemon cards on another site, because I actually like Pokemon cards. I actually like the idea of having veve NFTs as the Pokemon cards rather than collectibles. We could do both, but I'd actually like the first 150 Pokemon cards in the veve app. I think that would be a new route to go down, I must admit. Even make the game in there, play the game in there. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. I've not heard anything, but he has been extremely quiet. We will see, because there's a possibility of it at New York Comic Con. There's a possibility of that. They didn't give any reason for that, but we just haven't heard anything. I actually heard something, I would like to say 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but I'm not 100% sure. Dead coins, I'm willing to share my points. Come and share them, buddy. Come and share them. I collected comics the whole time, so my points are very low, I must admit. JKill XRP. I think that's how you say your name. That's how you say your name, right? Getting ready for the party tonight. Good luck to you, my friend. Yes, I did see some of your pictures. You're at the event. If you are at the event, make sure you take loads of pictures and tag Bob Sales in the pictures, because I do want to see all your event pictures. And I would actually like to store some of them and make a video later on. If you do get any like side interviews or anything and you're not putting them on YouTube or anything like that, if you tag me in anything you buy, even physical purchases and stuff like that, I'm willing to take a look at all that stuff. I'm willing to take an interest. And I obviously collect physical toys as well as everything else. So yeah, welcome to tag me in anything. I'll quite happily take a look at all your pictures and stuff, because we all feel like we're missing out at this one. This one's huge. Stan, any info on the botted wallets and killing them to reduce the circulation supply? My prediction is many items will skyrocket after that happens. There is like a 2-year limit, 2-year wait time with that. Again, I think they're just going to be held. I don't think they're actually ever going to be burned. I think the wallets would just be held themselves and not accessed. I think that's how that whole situation will play out, I think. I have no news about botted wallets, though. Only Daily Burn is the place for that sort of information. He's been a bit slow on the videos recently, but he's just had a new family member and stuff like that. So he has had a lot going on, and he's still building a site for veve and stuff like that. So he is concentrating on that in a minute. But if you ask him them sort of questions, he will get back to you. He's fairly reachable, I must admit. Hold'em Fandom is another good one, but he's not done a video for a little while, so he probably can't help you there. But maybe you could put it in his YouTube section. A lot of people used to do that, and that's when they would make the next video, right? But I do think a lot of the supply right now is just being held in wallets that are not just botted wallets, but wallets that have inactive and are just waiting for the next best thing. They know that veve's been down a slope, so I think they thought, well, I'll buy less and just wait for the next thing. So I think a lot of the veve wallets here are just waiting for things to pick up, the next move, the Veveverse to come, for instance. I think once that does come, I think we're going to see a lot more of the old people back. It was only the other day I did actually start seeing some of the older YouTube names, what I've seen when I first started my channel, which I haven't seen in a long time, start joining the chat again. So I do think the partnerships have already started to take account. Duck and Cover, as a Funko collector, I'm surprised that you don't like the Mighties. I don't like the Mikeys, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like Funkos. I do not like Funko designs. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, when I first see a Funko, I thought it was so ugly. I honestly thought it was so ugly. But because of the cost price, they're so easy to get hold of. They've made it so everyone can buy a Funko pretty much, right? But you then, once you start buying them, you start buying random ones. And I literally just started to pick characters I like. That was how it all started. I never planned to have a collection like I have now, I must admit. I would show you, but for some reason my camera control's not working. But yeah, so I would show you. I mean, I could just go like that. Yeah. So as you can see, I've been collecting Funkos for ages. And I've got so many random ones, so many. Yeah, I've got just a whole bunch. And the funny thing is, I've actually got 10, 15 Disney princesses, I would say. I never had any of them Disney princesses till I joined veve and I started buying the veve NFTs, right? So that just goes to show that that does happen. Same as the Thanos glove, for instance. So the Thanos glove over here. So I only bought that when the glove come into veve. I brought loads of comics recently, and most of these comics I brought because I come into veve. So physical and digital collecting does come hand in hand, I must admit. But yeah, I don't like the Mighties, I must admit. I didn't even like the Funkos. It's just an easy access, and I'm a physical toy collector. And they made so many great ones like Slipknot, Marilyn Manson, Light Years, UFC ones. I think the UFC one was the first one I brought. And literally, you can get anything Funko. I think that's the good idea about it. Odin, my favorite. Yeah, Odin's 100% the best Funko there is. What about the veve logos? Actually, do we think there's anything with those? Which ones? The multiple logos? I mean, I think they're still a good hold, I must admit. I actually sold mine at one point because I needed gems again, but I am going to go back into one. And they did actually pick up again recently. Whether or not they get any utility, I mean, the gold and silver still have utility this week. So we'll see what people come back with for them. But the other ones, I still think they're worth having. I still think they're significant. And they still tend to hold their prices. They're not doing bad for a drop that was really cheap. I still can't say that name, Wapamus, or when utility for the other veve logos should happen. Yeah, maybe that will happen, but I'm not sure it'll be like the gold and silver ones. Gold and silver logos seem to be getting quite a lot with theirs, whereas if the other ones come, there's so many of them, a couple of thousand. I do think they could give something away, like maybe even a t-shirt or something would be better than nothing. But again, I think we brought it because it's to sign veve. Everyone's going to want one above their Veveverse wall, stuff like that. So there is little uses for it like that. I do think they'll pick back up in prices again as well. They are a bit down at the minute. Everything's a bit down at the minute, but a lot of people have been selling to get this week's drops. Duck and Cover, my Dragon Girl physical sells for $630 on veve. This happens, Duck and Cover. This happens. There's a couple of things like that. It's like the Tokidoki ones that are just coming out. They're $13 to purchase or whatever they are, but one of them will cost you $175 in real life if you want one. But then the smaller ones are $13 to purchase. And the veve version is 10 times better. Yeah, I actually like the Dragon Girl, I must admit. Stan, I am bullish too on the logos. Initially, I wasn't until the renewed partnership with Marvel. I will revisit the logo proposition, especially with this Ultimate Spider-Man. I 100% agree with that. They are definitely worth another look at. They're definitely worth a bit more money after this week. And I do think you always got to remember these events do bring everyone back bullish. So I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people coming back bullish that's going to want the logos. I can cover. I generally think Mighties would do better than the Golden Moments for real. That is a crazy, crazy, crazy statement. The Mighties will never do better than the Golden Moments. 100,000,000%. I would bet my life on it. I kind of agree. Disney definitely gifted veve with amazing FAs, but it seemed frugal with their. Yeah, they do seem a bit weird with airdrops and stuff. And let's be real here. veve are not the only partner with Disney right now. Cryptoys also have that license right now. I do believe we're going to see a bunch more Marvel Disney stuff come on Cryptoys. Whether that's good for veve or not is a different thing, but I do believe that's going to happen. And I do believe that Disney right now are trying to recoup some of their money they've lost over the last 2 years, making these films that have been a bit too woke. There's been so many of them recently. The Seven Dwarf and the Snow White and the Seven Magical Dwarfs is absolutely going to be a bomb. They're literally debating whether to can that whole film after the actress has come out and said that the storyline's not what you'd see in a normal fairy tale. They've been killing a lot of the films we've grown up to. There was still a lot of women in the world that liked the idea of marrying a princess when they were older, even though it weren't true. They still liked the idea as a kid. So veve, so I do think Disney are trying to make up for some of the losses they've actually made. So I think they lost 200 million on the last 8 movies, I would say. And it all started from Lightyear, the new Lightyear film. Not only was he not a toy, but also they was doing a big push over here in the UK about him having 2 lesbian characters and stuff like that. It's not for everyone, right? And it's slowly been declining from that sort of thing. And then with the Snow White and the magical creatures, like you can't say dwarfs anymore, apparently, because it's offending. Although the dwarf that actually said that statement is the only dwarf still in the film as a dwarf, as a magical creature now, but as a dwarf. So still one dwarf, the guy that complained about being called a dwarf and having it in the story is still in Snow White. So yeah, explain that to me. I really don't know. But yeah, I do believe Disney are trying to make some money. Stan, Marvel seems more bullish on veve than Disney. Yeah, I would say so. But then Disney owns all of it, right? Disney literally owns every branch of everything right now. Disney's new idea is to buy up everyone else's stuff like Pixar and stuff like that, because they know they were making better films at the time and they needed that as part of their umbrella. Disney are not stupid. They've got their fingers in about 300 to 400 different pies, big steaks. And everyone could know what's going on in France January. So I heard a rumor that there may be a veve event in January and it will be in Paris. And I kind of maybe got asked to maybe go to that event. And I was like, well, if you're going, I will go. And then I was like, should we go Disney? And it was like, yeah, maybe we should go Disney. So yeah, it could be a trip to Disney with a veve fan, but nothing's confirmed yet. But I'm thinking that's what it's going to be. Definitely a meet up in Paris anyway. Stan, any opinion on DC giving veve the FA McFarlane, but not turning over comics like Marvel? Yeah, I do agree that should have come to veve, but DC is in a bad state right now. Really bad state, their site. And I do actually think it's the site itself rather than the comics. Let's face it, the comics have a 100-year history. The films have history, right? But I do think it's just the use of the site. The site is really bad to use. So let me just read that one more time. Any opinion on DC giving veve the FA McFarlane, but not turning over the collectibles? Like FA McFarlane, what are you referring to when you're saying FA McFarlane? There is literally FA McFarlane on veve. It will always be on veve. Todd is FA McFarlane. 100%. DC Direct used to be a company that used to work with Todd McFarlane. In fact, I have a video on my Twitter page from 3 weeks ago of Todd McFarlane telling you all about the DC Direct collectibles. It can be no more Todd McFarlane than it already is. And obviously, if you've licensed something, if you've give someone your artwork, given permission to sell something, that means you're obviously supporting that, right? So I think if that's what you meant by the first McFarlane collectible, is that right? I think that's what you meant anyway. But Todd is still number one. FA McFarlane always will be. ODB is a god. Yes, he is 100%. He should make more videos, but I know he's a bit busy. Duck and cover, boom, that's where it is. I would never collect Toki, but once I started, I had to have them all. Yeah, I agree with that. I would have never collected any of this stuff. I was never interested in Banksy, Ron English, or anything like this until I got into veve, and then I started making videos. And the more I dug into them, the more I got interested in that sort of stuff. Where are we? Someone asked the difference between an investor and a collector. I think that's the difference. I don't, to be honest. I explain this all the time. So even in physical life, like I collect all these toys around me, I'm still going to make sure I take care of all the boxes. I'm still going to dust them. I'm still going to try not to open the boxes, because even though I collect them and I plan to hold them my whole life, I still hope that one day, if I do come to sell it, my appreciation's gone up in value and I paid the right price. So there's definitely a difference. And the way it's used on veve, the way a lot of people throw I'm a collector about, is more of a backhanded term, as I say, I'm better than you. A lot of the time, that's how veve users use it. So I'm not going to lie, as a collector of real things and veve NFTs and all of this stuff is probably going to stay with me the rest of my life. You still hope it goes up in value. That's part of the collection, right? Don't get a graded 9.8 X-Men comic and then whack it on your wall, start opening it and everything. You're just not going to do it. So 1 second. Backdoor kicks. I only have one Funko, Toys R Us 12. Hope to add the Iron Man. Well, it's a start. Trust me, you've started. It will get worse. You'll start seeing them at, I don't know whether you have car boot sales where you are. I'm not sure if you're English or where you're from. But yeah, you start finding them. You find a character you find really cheap, £3 or something, somewhere like that. And you'll be like, well, I can't argue with that. I've got to have it, right? So Stan, where's the veve merch? I don't get it. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. So I actually asked this question to Alex, Reverend Alex. I actually asked this question to at Decon. So we're all standing in line for the Jermaine Rogers t-shirts. There's 100 t-shirts for 1,000 veve fan waiting at the event. And then after everyone got to the end of the queue, they were all like, well, can we buy something? No, we don't have t-shirts. We don't have comics. We don't have anything. All we had was the one of 100 t-shirts to go with the NFT. So that was a letdown. And we even asked the question, why not? Oh, we don't feel it's right to be profiting off of stuff like t-shirts and stuff at these events. I was like, so you'd rather have someone on Amazon make money off of your logo, your name? I mean, worst case, you could make the t-shirts and sell them for cost price. Worst case. But I think everyone at the event should have something veve should be able to purchase something veve. This event is a bigger push because you've got the comics, you've got stuff like that. So it's a bigger push. But I do believe t-shirts do not hurt. Why not have t-shirts and sell them at the event? I've never understood that myself, I must admit. And it's another source of income. One and one Kenobi. What's ODB? Duck and cover. That guy from the Wu-Tang. No, he means Omi Daily Burn, mate. So the one that does all the IMX stuff and stuff on veve. He's had a little break for a while, but yeah, always follow that guy on Twitter as well. Omi Daily Burn. Always follow him on Twitter because he always puts alpha up there, always put posts on. He's always keeping an eye on stuff. Wu-Tang Clan, so funny. Deadcoin's laughing at that suggestion. That was quite funny though. If the world script remains sensitive, we will never get Captain America 1. I'm not like the biggest Captain America fan, I must admit. Now, in America, I can imagine he's a big thing, right? And Captain America is a big hero. But for me, he wouldn't be my favorite pick out of the Avengers, out of stuff like that, I must admit. But I think that was why veve always named these things digital collectibles, because they wanted to diss themselves from the NFT word, the dirty word. I think that was always the plan. And I've won Kenobi, whatever's going on, I'll be there. Yeah, I think I'll be there too, to be honest. The backhanded comments. The backhanded comment nails it on the head. I don't know what that means. What was that, Sunshine? Whatever's going on, I'll be there. Backhanded comment nails in the head. Sorry, I don't know whether that was to me or to you or to Anad or whatever. Hell yeah, merch is free advertising. 100% Stan. I agree with a lot with what you say, mate. And like right now, I'll show you. So I'm actually wearing a veve t-shirt. What my friend Anad One Kenobi, what you can see in the chat now, actually brought me for my birthday. This is obviously not a veve official shirt, but I've got one. So yes, they definitely should do that. Merch should be seen as marketing, not making money. Anyway, 100%, that's 100%. But he did actually say they felt like it was a bit rude to be taking money off the veve fam to sell them shirts and stuff, because they felt like at the time it wasn't right. I do believe they should do that 100%. I hope that will change. You never know. It might change after this con. So you never know. Right, so I've been on probably 2.5 hours now, so I am going to head out. I will be back tomorrow for the drops. I am going to be doing all the drops this week because I'm interested in most of them. There's only a couple I'm not really interested in, but I'm interested to see how they plan out, I must admit. So thank you, everyone, for staying with me. I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. A peace.